pasti ada gua 1 gor. Sekarang viewer dia tuh udah gede anjing 100, 200. Nggak inget sama gua sama sekali anjing, kesel kayak tai sama orang kayak gitu tuh.
Ya, siapa suruh?
Iya, makanya gua
Kamu
cukup
pengen
tahu
bagi
aja.
notis sih.
Bukan bagi notis, maksud gua tuh kalau ngeliat gua perbandingan ya, orang Indo sama orang luar. Kalau orang luar tuh pasti kayak gimana ya viewer gua yang ini ya, nemenin gua dari nol gitu loh. Gua sih nggak peduli-peduli amat gitu ya. Cuma kan
Kayak
ini
itu,
masalah
kayak siapa?
ada gua pernah lihat gitu. Kalau
Kagak ada
Amar
ya?
kalau di
Kagak
Goli
ada.
mah gampang cari notisnya. Ya, emot spam marahnya tadi notis sama dia.
Mana?
Sama ini Gor ya. Aku punya ini. Aku punya ini. Bentar lagi dikeluarin nih gue nih. Serem dia kalau ini dikeluarin nih.
Kagak di event predict ya?
Ada kemarin.
Dipikem.
Udah tutup apa belum? Udah tutup apa belum?
Tutup.
But even some things that we saw banned away yesterday, like the Jarvan becoming very, very strong because of Spirit Shojin, and with the amount of jungle bans we're seeing, that could definitely be something that was looked at early here. But I think Azir, Ori probably going to be the higher priority.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the Vi kind of still being there. Look, at the end of the day, no matter what way the jungle kind of changes, Vi is still very viable because she's just pointing to CC, C champion, pick champion, kill champion. But now that we come into this one, PSG will have that first priority, and they might be, exactly as you said, the Jarvan have a huge priority just given the amount that have been taken off the board.
Yeah, it must be a case of, hey, look, we're kind of happy to pick whatever's on the opposite side of that matchup. Like, we can go for the Ori, we can go for the Azir. Ezreal, also another 80 carry pick that's been very, very high priority in that bot lane. Very safe, great scaling, and the opportunity then for your support to start to roam around the map is going to be massive as well, especially if you've got that aggressive Jarvan on the opposite side.
Yeah, that's locked in as well. I love the Ezreal here as well because actually the Jarvan kind of, it's almost like a game of chess really. It's like we got the Jarvan, that means the Saya isn't as viable. You're going to have to look for something different because, you know, there's sometimes CX in League of Legends, but it doesn't work with Cataclysm, unfortunately. But that's not going to be picked, so we got the Ezreal locked in already. I feel like, I was going to say the Renekton is such an easy pickup right now. It can be blinded into so many matchups.
Yeah, 100% win rate for Bong as well, and a 4.8 KDA for him, so he's been very, very strong in this pick. And you heard the Des talk about it.
Nelaku loncat-loncat mulu.
He's terrifying, but Ozzy is no pushover. I'm actually really excited to see what this matchup is going to be in that top side. But
anjir tuh loncat-loncat punya Sion berapa tuh? Tuh loncat lagi anjir.
80 carry locked in here. Zai is a good option. Peel, and then I imagine going to be that mid lane role picked up here as well. But looks like maybe they're looking at the Rakan. They're just going to solidify that bot lane instead.
Okay, interesting enough. PSG kind of happy with whatever goes into that top lane matchup against the Renekton, willing to let those bans come in, so we do expect things like the Cassante and the Jax to be banned away.
Yeah, I imagine so. On the upside here though, I'm curious to see what Miro wants to go for, because Miro is definitely been someone that a little bit back and forth on how impactful he can be, has looked spectacular in things like Yari. We'll have to see what he can do on this team. Got a lot of setup for him though, like at least the moment you've already got the Renekton, you imagine you're probably going to get some sort of CC coming through from your jungler as well.
Mbappe nggak main bang, iya Mbappe lagi main ML sama Ronaldo.
Deny the Jarvan engage is going to be crucial for Miru in this one.
And I love it as well because it's a little bit of a flex as well. Like
berarti masih penyediaan grup itu gue apa gimana sih?
Ini masih play in itu di bawahnya
honestly, going into the next kind of things, you said already had was completely broken. R7 recognized that now and go, cool, let's ban it away. Take it off the table.
I think it'll be the Azir maybe come through as well. So it looks like they're not as worried about Ozzy in that top
ini ntar diambil cuma 2 tim
I
doang.
think at this stage, yeah, just try
Rakan kayaknya bakal banyak dipakai sih.
Yang kemarin itu
saya
and that can open up a lot of opportunities.
Kok kayak begitu lagi isinya.
Kaisa malah jarang dipakai.
Matchup is, you heard Gilbert talk about on the desk.
Iya, mas aku juga nggak pick Kaisa.
He's very good at dictating the pace of the early game.
Kaisa
Getting PSG talent set up so they can play for those late game fights.
Berarti ini orang-orang yang nge-pick ini berarti lagi meta gitu gue kayak gini-gini gue.
Iya lah lagi meta. Ini patch berapa sih buat Worlds nih? 13 berapa?
2 kalau nggak salah ya.
13
Ini pemain apa nih? Main apa ini? Lagi nonton ya, nobar dulu. Minimal kalau nggak nonton like dulu lah. Aku mah nggak perlu nonton, yang perlu donasi. Donasi tuh nggak. Iya. Aku donasinya ke membermu, Gor.
with the setup you have from Talia, that's a pretty strong mid jungle, but you have to be so careful because Jarvan can
Tapi gue
interrupt
nggak
that
kenal
incredibly well.
nick
I'm
mereka sih, gue
curious to
maksudnya
see
kayak
what
nggak
Maple
Ini
actually
Maple
goes
masa lu nggak tahu
here. I think
mainnya?
Azir,
Tentunya juga Maple
both
saat
these could work out very well.
Ini
Orang-orang
pekorin.
Which is kind of where PSG like to sit.
That's the thing as well. Like
gue
you look at the
nggak tahu sih,
composition
udah lama banget gue
for 7 right
ngikutin
now. Like
World tuh
outside
terakhir
of
gue
kind of like, you know, in
ngikutin
terms of
yang
their
pas
carries,
Faker
they're
nangis
just kind of
gitu doang
poking you
udah.
down, making sure your health bars are down
Udah
about
lama banget,
2/3,
Gor.
50%. Then they go for the engage with maybe a
Itu
flank
harus
break
begitu
or
sekarang,
a Vayne
anjing.
coming in from the side.
Zaman
But if you
kapan?
just have this kind of Venn
Zaman
diagram,
Nabi
Musa
the
itu.
Rakan, the
2017.
Cataclysm, of course, the pop
2017
blossom,
kan sih Faker
you're gonna
nangis
have
itu,
an awful lot to kind of
2017.
throw back at that. And let's just add
Yang
even
Legend
more
Indonesia
circles
itu
to the
agak
matchup if
itu
you're gonna
dia
knock in this Kennen as well.
Yeah, and Kennen did get some really nice buffs
Kayaknya
on this
terlalu
patch as well coming into 13-19. So I think he's in a really
Area
strong
baru
spot. I
gitu,
think we're
Gor.
going to see him more
Apa
and
sih
more
itu
out
masih
roads.
unang aja lah.
When you've already got, as you say, like
Ayo nih.
Kayak kiri
just
sekali,
more circles to the
tapi
Venn
si
diagram
PSG
works out
sekalinya
incredibly
masuk
well.
ngeri itu.
Yeah, this is a very strong team
Jarvan
by team for
masuk
PSG
kan,
talent. The
Neko
good news as well is
masuk.
push in top. You've got good control over
Eh,
bot side as well.
di open dulu kan
makes it a
sama
little
si
bit more difficult
Raka.
for Adi to try and get into
Di
the
lock,
face of
set.
Tapi
PSG
nggak ada lock
talent.
target dia Gor ya.
On
Oh
the
iya,
outside for
rewardnya
7,
kapan
I mean, you've got
diumumin?
great skirmishing power if they can try and set those up in the early stages.
That's the
Reward
big
dari
thing.
apanya?
With the
Terus
Talia
Lemon
and
mana?
Mobo,
Lemon lagi
fantastic
dagang
ways of
ini,
delaying
dagang
engage, with
ubi.
great ways of stopping them from getting on top of your carries. So really is
ubi
going to
di
be how
puncak.
they're able to execute on the competition. But I will say for PSG, the great thing about all this engage is that even if they lose one player, they still have options.
Yeah, I think the big one for me coming into this is like when I watched PSG Talon's games, we're trying to be good at hey, we want to reset on time,
Kanan
we want
sih,
to
Gor,
set up
menang
our
sih,
mid
gua
waves,
kanan
set up our
yang
waves
menang,
states correctly for our objective setup and get in towards
Dulu
Dragon.
Viego sih
With a
kanan.
composition like PSG,
Gue tuh nggak tahu ya.
you want to set up for flex.
Ini ya gue kalau lihat ada orang pakai Viego, apalagi ini kan udah orang pro, gue kayak Viego tuh kayak hero power banget
You
ya
want to
sih,
make sure you've
menurut
got
gue gitu.
multiple different angles of attack here, and I think that kind of plays in towards what has been the strength of PSG Talon. So for me, this is kind of R7 saying, hey, look, we want to try and disrupt that. We want to get in early, get some early skirmishes going, particularly if we can try and play around this Renekton top side for things like Grip Terror, and then look to try
Tapi
and
ini
set
bisa
up
kayak
something
gitu nggak sih,
for
Gor? Misalnya
ourselves
kayak dia
where
nge-lag
we're
terus
just
kayak
coming
time out
into
gitu
these
di pos
fights
itu
with
bisa
early
Gor ini kalau
lead, venting
lomba
you
begini Gor.
from getting that vision.
Ada bisa di pause kalau ada trouble.
Portable
Kan
mah iya, kalau pause
No
technical meeting
expectations at the
apa
moment.
technical meeting apa.
0-0 on the board.
Time out
You don't
mah enggak,
really know
anjir.
who's gonna
Time out
pop
mah
off, who's gonna
Kalau
make a
mah
move for
ada.
themselves.
Kayak
And it
enggak
really
bukan
does
kayak
kind
kayak
of
gitu
come
kayak
down
trouble.
to
Trouble kan
doesn't
kayak
matter
main
whether
ML
it's the
Kalau
season,
trouble
it's
mah
all
ya
about
pasti
now. You have
technical
to get a
issue,
good
connection
start.
issue.
PSG Talon versus Movistar
Ada, ada.
R7. Game
Masa
1
dia lagi pada
of the
DC
League of
misalkan
Legends World
bengong.
Championship 2023
Bisa
is about to
musuh
begin.
aneh aja.
Tapi ini kalau nge-kill nggak boleh ketik edit ya Gor ya.
Nggak boleh beli.
Cheers to the crowd there. Excited
Boleh.
Tidur deh,
to see
tidur deh.
R7 take the stage, but perhaps see if they can try and continue.
Yang mereka nggak ngerti gitu ya,
At
yang
least for
mereka nggak
them,
ngerti gitu ya.
The campaign started last year, or last MSI, to try and set themselves up with that first win. They're going to have to see now if they can do it again against PSG
Gila,
Talent.
komit
But
loh ya.
PSG Talent,
Bangsat,
honestly, we were kind of talking before the game.
Gue pernah lihat tuh,
PSG
ingat banget
Talent
waktu T1
don't
ngelawan
make it
siapa
into
ya.
groups. It
Pokoknya
feels like
menangnya
a
menang
failure
cepet
for
dah.
this team.
Gak lama gamenya.
They're so
Itu
incredibly
pas
strong.
udah di Nexus
Plus
tuh
even
kayak
having guys like
mereka tuh
Gorsky,
ngomong kayak manner gitu. Jadi jangan dilama-lamain anjir.
Like this is a team that
Jangan-
is
jangan
set to
ngeremehin
take
musuh
over
gitu.
the region,
Oh, gila sih,
continue the
respect.
legacy that
Tapi itu kan
PSG
ngeremehin
Talent
musuh.
have. And it's
Anjing,
amazing to see
taunting.
that they can
Rata-rata itu, ratain dulu.
Absolutely. I mean, like it's
Cuman
I don't think
game
it's unfair
mobile
to
aja
say that
tauntingnya
PSG
anjing
Talent
sampai
have just
kayak
been
ya Allah
dominating
nggak
in
punya
the
adab
PCX
banget.
ever since they kind of became
Mau main
Iya,
malah
iya.
dimarahin anjing, jandian dulu, jandian dulu.
How they want to try and, you know,
Takut
progress,
kalah,
how they want to try and
anjing.
push for things and such like that to get
Ya, kalau kita mah
beyond
bodo amat,
playing
Gor,
stage and then
yang
even
Ini dah,
further
terus
from there,
recall
of course, new
anjing
format
apa?
here in the playing stage, new
Anjing,
format in
najis
the
banget.
splits as well. So in the group stage, so
Paling
we'll see how far they
recall.
can go. There's
Kalau
definitely an awful lot more up in the air. It's definitely not as clean cut as it used to be.
Hal biasa sih menurut gue sih.
I mean, I'm excited to see just even how some of these new champions
Viego aja baunya jungle-nya jungle yang hijau.
having the buffs that he got.
Ya beda, kenapa gue bilang kalau turnamen beda, pasti.
Ya soalnya lebih valuable Gor. Gua aja Mastery selalu bawa yang hijau Gor. Jarang banget gue bawa yang lain, merah sama biru gue paling jarang.
Sorry bang, saya keluar dari live, saya kira ini live official recording. Enggak bang. League of Legend, kalau League of Legend mendingan nontonnya di LoL eSport. Kalau mau lu dapat hadiah lu kalau nonton. Lebih bagus di LoL
Iya, ya.
eSport sebetulnya.
Nggak tahu menang siapa.
Lu kalau musuhnya salah satu dari tim ada yang Quadra, Penta, Skill Baron, Skill DG, itu lu dapat box. Jangan lupa di loginin dulu Riot.
Nah, dapetin hadiahnya gimana sih?
Kasih Alea udah mampir. Langsung dia ntar ada tulisan setelah masuk loot gitu-gitu.
I imagine we're going to see a lot of pressure from Jinja towards the lanes, and that's kind of where he's been a staple for
Bang,
PSG.
kata lu yang menang
And
siapa?
well, since it is the beginning of Worlds,
Ini.
don't forget to log
Ih
in.
anjir,
Borneo
bisa nggak tuh
Evo.
lihat channelnya tuh?
Evo sama mana?
Exclusive Worlds
Apa
2023 drops
Persipura?
like emotes and icons. Lots of free things.
Borneo sama Persipura.
Persiwa Wamena.
Yeah, right.
Nggak jelas.
Bang,
Bang,
Just No
Look, it's
Limit
a joke.
nggak main
I
bang.
was gonna make a joke about it yesterday, but then I stopped myself.
Just No Limit lagi bikin video ini buat
Video short.
video short. Ini udah gue liat dia udah aneh banget.
Nggak pernah lepas dari dulu tuh Ezreal, anjir ada aja yang pakai Ezreal tuh.
Kick him out while he's down. That's just bad.
Enak banget pokoknya.
Pokoknya dia ada
You
escape-nya
know, I
juga
think for,
kan.
Dia
for a lot of these like
OP banget enggak, cuman dia punya ini escape tuh.
Iya, escape enak, beli juga enak deh anjir. Enak banget.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just kind of
right?
like, oh, can I just use that into my account?
I
Is
always
that a
message
thing?
my flatmate and I'm like, hey, turn
Log
on
in.
turn on PC, please. Thank you.
Ada yang mau main kah sambil type-in?
Gua
Biar lagi
kalau main di normal kok takut batam aja, tapi kalau di turnamen
I'm
ada yang pakai Z
hotel,
nggak?
which is a weird one to come back to Ireland.
Bisa apa Gor? CC nggak
Siapa?
punya.
Iya deh, kalau
Tapi mas kalau udah
Itu
sok susu, kepala gua udah pusing ya mas.
Nggak Gor, misalnya lu mid make Z, bot udah pastikan attack damage. Kalau mid make attack damage lagi, musuh tinggal dual armor.
Yeah, I
Terlalu
think that's what
ini.
we're
Kan
gonna
kalau
make
misalnya
this
midnya
round.
AP
I think
kan,
the
topnya
fight is
mau
gonna
bikin
start
tank
to
nggak
take
ini,
off.
jadi bingung antara MR sama armor kan harus seimbang.
We'll be able to shove out this
Tapi
wave,
berarti
get his own
lebih
reset
cocok
into
kalau
match
mid itu
reset,
AP.
sail, and then they'll be in a decent
Ya
position
gimana
to
tim
go
komnya?
especially when you're looking at, hey, look, we've got so many ultimates to kick off
GS
at
win
level 6.
sih.
Rift
Ini
Round's
kata
gonna be
gua
a
skill
big
diff.
PSG talent, but a lot of it's going to revolve around, hey, can we try and get
Ini sih
ultimate members
gua
up
juga
towards the
milihnya
top
sih
side?
Talon.
Because I think if you don't have like
SG Talon.
Parah banget anjir, baru 4 men, belum ada kill, gold difference-nya 500 anjing. Cacat ini keripingannya.
You know, a lot of setup that can come through from Miro as well, so it can make the team fights a little bit tough with just trying to play into what OR7 have in that 3v3 skirmish.
And the thing is, like, you know, it's been passive as such, but you can see the CS leads in the top lane, a little bit of CS lead as well in the mid and the bot. Just small
Gunanya
little
minin
incremental
determinator buat
advantages
si
being kind of brought
SP
up
apa
here
kan?
for PSG Talon. And Audi,
Iya,
unfortunately,
biar cepet aja.
Reliknya langsung dapat kan.
Langsung ke pro.
Gitu doang.
Hitungannya tetap nge-pro.
Siapa tahu tahun depan Ilham ikut.
Buset,
mati tuh.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Maksudnya dia, kok dia kayak tahu, oh ya ini. Gua masih kadernya apa ininya doang sih, pattern jungle pas lagi buat ininya doang kakak.
Ya lu kalau biasa main jungle lu bisa ngebaca lah minimal.
Pattern nge-gankingnya itu harus man.
Enggak usah gue
Kalau ini masih udah terarah sih, misalnya minta di game tadi. Kalau gua sih, kalau gua lagi ada di mana kesempatan ya udah sekalian aja nge-gank, nggak sengaja. Gua pengen nge-gank top, gua pengen nggak gitu sih. Kalau gua selama main biasa.
Nggak usah dipikirin Gor. Dia kan
Sebenarnya iya, sebenarnya kita bisa prediksi apa pergerakan jungle kita sama jungle musuh tuh mirip-mirip, hampir
Kalau itu
sama
aku masih
misalnya.
bisa itu mas, tapi kayak timing buat nge-ganking. Kadang-kadang pas lagi gua di bawah
Itu kelihatan dari pergerakan lawanmu yang di lane gue, kalau maju-maju gitu biasanya berani maju gitu ada temennya berarti
aku mah
dia.
tahu mas.
Nah itu udah harus.
Kita sisi jungle-nya.
timingnya itu.
Oh maksudnya kita jungle-nya. Kalau
Iya,
kalau si yang teman kita yang di lane itu mau perang,
Dapat nggak nih first blood nih? Aduh, anjir najis.
majuin tuh. Atau enggak dia over push tuh paling enak.
Kena dong.
Najis tipis banget bangsat.
Yeah, I love the aggression though. They see that, hey, look, the knockup is completely missed, and Miru knows it as well. So Audi
Kayak lu
gonna
itu,
finish
Gor.
off this
Gila.
dragon. And now the
Iya,
Taliyah
cuman
is
abis Ludas mati tapi
waiting
itu.
in the wings to try and turn this around.
Namanya juga Mbappe itu kan.
Yo, Mbappe ini jangan main.
Baru juga dipuji.
Makin puji semakin binatang masih.
Ini apaan? Dapatnya poin, kenapa tiba-tiba ganti jadi Ionia? Emang bisa gitu ya?
Bisa.
The CS was
What the
picked
heck?
up underneath the tower as well by PSG Talon, so it would have been nice if they could have got slightly more, but still, I love that we're getting this aggressiveness out of OR7 to
Cepet
try and
banget ya si
find
Odi
these
ya,
little
jungle ya.
advantages.
Itu ngedegenya ya.
Of course, it's just kind of how these teams are
Oh.
playing. Junja was spotted before he came down here. Did clear out a pink ward before, or a vision ward before he came down here. So they know he's roughly in this area, but are they willing to bet he's waiting?
No, I think it's a good job from Junja. Like, come down,
Samira.
export the wave in for PSG, make sure there's no funny been instance from Audi. He actually stays close enough to the wave as well, where he
Kadang
takes
orang
level
nggak ngerti
6, which is
tuh
kind of
BO3
the big mark you want to hit just
Dia
before you
menang
come
sampai
in
3
towards
kali
this
anjing,
Rift Herald fight.
goblok.
It's going to be happening about 10
Kalah
minutes
lu
long,
di situ.
this
BO3
second
tuh
time
lu
as well.
open BO 3
So
kali,
now
Bang.
you help your
Udah
opponent
mulai.
reset,
Cakep.
which you can actually drag Woody up
Lagian
and
masih
Cakep,
anget
bener.
di guys, nggak jelas ya. Dijelasin. Kayak kalau dijelasin binatang masih nyambung masih gue.
sound on the spot side as he's about to ping over to level 6.
Yep, gets himself the Feather Storm, so
Contohnya?
very hard to kind of lock him
Nggak
out
dikasih
down
contoh lah,
once
gua nggak
more.
pernah
Audi
soalnya.
is
Talon
level 6
main
as well,
ini.
so should have the Heartbreaker. And I mean, look,
Indonesia.
all the pressure and all the great things that are happening for R7,
Indonesia
they are paying
style.
the price. It is a push and pull game, and
Anjir, itu creeping on top jelek banget, coy.
That is the question. Woody is there as well. They're going to get
Oh,
the storm
shit.
down. No rule. He really needs to land that a little bit of CC.
Mati tuh, mati. Ih, gak mati.
Missing is gonna unfortunately mean we'll go on for first blood.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened with Leon's. I think he was trying to hex flash over the wall.
Agor,
to follow up
jadi
on it, and he
komentator
failed
lah.
the hex flash and hooked the wall, so there wasn't really the follow up there that they needed. Junja had started up the Rift
Iya,
Herald,
gua.
but I mean,
Versi-
at the moment,
versi
still
bahasa
got a good
Arabnya
amount
Kalau
of
gua
control
laku,
here
Iya.
for
gua ntar nge-live.
the jungle. Yes, they used Audi's ultimate, which is a bit of a sucker punch, and they might just back away, but it looks
Kan
like
sering
at the
berkalah,
moment
jadi
PSG
gua sempet
aren't as
ngalah.
confident to try and go for this.
Oh, iya, siap.
They wanna get the reset onto Maple. They'll now
Bukannya
have to come
streamer
back into lane
sombong
before they
katanya.
really look for
Pas lagi sombong
Yeah,
gua dikatain
Mulai
sama
should be pushed in here by
orang
Marco.
yang sombong kontol.
Should be kind of the real trade-off right now. Still have TP here onto Miru, so
Emek.
be able to kind of get down, clear this ward, and
Emek
join all
utara
that he's
tadi.
needed around that Rift Herald.
Wah, ini di
That's why
steal kayaknya nih.
Get mid prio off the back of Maple having to reset. Now they
Kita
know
lihat
as you
di
say,
bot.
Miru can always join
Kayaknya
in.
di steal
So they've
sih.
got the numbers advantage. So I'd be surprised if PSG really
Oh,
wanna
lihat
try
tuh
and
CC
contest
tuh,
this.
berapa detik
Oh,
aja.
they get the root down, they get the knock up as well. Level 6 hit, the Cataclysm comes in for Junja. He does get the knock up.
Oh,
There's a
ya,
slight-
Blood Red
sayang
Eyes.
banget
Ya,
And now they can
ya,
turn for the
Canon
fight. First blood
lambat.
finally goes over to Seo. Nice.
Ya,
Habis itu dia,
Nikonya
habis itu dia
tuh.
masuk, cuma dapetnya kena satu doang.
Is decent, but there's no damage right now. The resets
Kilisu.
are coming in. Double kill for Seo.
Talon
R7
kontol,
are
Talon
doing
aja.
well in the early
Gua
game.
udah pilih lu babi.
R7 are coming in hot to Worlds 2023.
Gua pilih Talon sama
Miru
siapa ya?
TP's in.
Sama
They
sama
get the
DFM.
fight, and PSG
Talon apaan, Gor?
way
Ini
too
PSG
overaggressive.
Talon,
They
namanya
didn't have
PSG
the
Talon.
numbers, they didn't have the setup, and everything rushed and everything goes awry.
Oh, berarti kalau ada
Seo
Gori
does
milih
not
jangan
flash
jangan
or
dukung itu.
heal.
Iya.
Doesn't have his
Iya,
setup.
bener.
Arcane shift either.
Ramah,
Nggak
anjing.
jelas, nggak jelas kan dia pernah di kiri, tapi tadi ngomong ke viewer, gue yang kanan nih si
That's a
Beng.
big win for PSG.
Pepe
Ya,
dia
habis
tuh nggak.
pik-pikannya kayak gini,
Just
Ram.
how that fight go wrong.
Itu nggak pur Gor, lu nggak tahu Gor. Kita kan Pokemon Gor, dia udah dewa Gor.
Kinda terrifying as this game starts to go on, at least they get
Siapa
something
Ripas
back,
Win
but
ya?
still
Kembali ke
R7.
keadaan.
Division in that top
Gua nontonnya di
side
Gori
there,
soalnya.
and Seo sadly had already used his arcane
Internet
shift
gua.
in the early game. That is a hell of a cooldown there. I think it's like
Oh,
20
Di
plus
pet aja
seconds
Ram.
the first
Kalau
few levels.
nonton
So
gua Ram.
really
keren
unfortunate
nyawa
there.
gua
Look,
dari
it's
internet
a
gua
small
terputus,
win back for
ay.
PSG, but R7
Jadi,
they're still going to be
uang itu
feeling
cuma karena
pretty
nge-lag doang
good
nih,
there.
Gor.
You can see there the Massacre
Internet
lane economy
kontol.
massively in
Komputer
favor of the kind of
pusing
rest of the
gua.
map apart from Bong, but in fairness
Udah
he knew he
nanti
was
gue
playing weak side
bawain
anyway.
FSD.
Buset.
Waduh, apa sama 26
Extra
Ti
hold
betul.
onto Seo is gonna get him towards
Oh
the
bener,
strike
nunjak
force,
anak
getting
Pep.
him up towards his,
Pepe lu bener, nomor 20
well,
putih,
and you're
Pepe,
gonna
Pepe.
I think Bong definitely just want to try and like stay at least
Nanti
even
si
in this
Gori,
lane, though, 'cause
gue install
Kena
Windows
Kira
sendiri.
Bang Gorsky biarin.
become nothing
Nah,
if
copyright.
you start to fall behind. So
Awas lah,
obviously
copyright
getting
Bang Gorsky
those
nggak
two
apa-apa,
kills
yang
was
penting
actually pretty big
pede
for them.
dulu.
But
Yang
Yang
penting lah.
bisa,
like
Kak.
we're talking about like
Gak ada
Seo
gue yang
giving over that
itu
kill
kan.
in the early
Oh,
stages.
jangan
now
jangan
means
yang
that
yang
Ozzy-
ono nih, yang ini aja lebih bagus sih
Ozzy's
Gorsky.
fights are gonna
Gorsky
rely on
nih
him.
jadi
Because
kostum makin
Ozzy just isn't gonna be able to
bagusnya.
keep up with the damage that Seo is gonna be able to churn out as long as he's
Yang penting
done.
Urusan itu belakangan.
Yang penting
So
ler
this cannon
iya.
is going to be
Apa
the
itu
menace
kopi
that
kopi
PSG is gonna
kanan
need to work.
ler.
And the big thing about that last fight as well is that we saw all the ultimates, but they were kind of
Bukannya
like
emang,
cataclysm a couple of
nanti
seconds later. Then
request
it was
gini
decisive
boleh ya?
Maelstrom, then a couple of
Kalau
seconds
ngeliat
later,
dari
then it was the
sumbernya
combo. So
langsung.
it wasn't a big
Oh, nggak boleh?
combo. It was
Nggak
kind
tahu
of
ya
one after
kalau
the other.
ML tuh nggak
When
boleh.
you're able to get those all together, that's when you're going to see a huge
Paling
amount of
monopoli.
burst coming out from PSG, and
Game-
R7 need to be
game
very,
dibagi.
very wary of that. But yeah, you can see by the total damage, it's
Kalau gitu gua sama game gua. Sekarang gua jadi pihak Muntun gua.
Jadi pihak Muntun.
Soalnya khusus post stream yang boleh bang. Setan post stream yang gitu dari WR.
Bener juga sih ya. Itu gua
Kan gue dari LOL, gue streaming gue LOL semua, masa gue kagak boleh stream. Nggak masalah, nggak ada yang nonton. Katanya kan nih bah, katanya ini mah nggak usah kena copyright, nggak usah di ini mah orang nggak ada yang nonton juga. Gitu.
Nggak ada untungnya juga gue
Iya nggak ada untungnya juga gue ngehapus
and actually
akunnya
start to
dia.
set up themselves up correctly, and unfortunately that has been the biggest problem.
Nggak ada untungnya gue hapus akun dia anjing. Pesimis banget anjing bahasanya.
Really not in a position there. I think that Asi was just very, very smart of how he played because cool, all my team's bot side, we're taking Dragon. I do not need to be aggressive right now. Backs himself away, and it doesn't really lead to anything. You will still have the Rift Herald to be
Yo,
used.
semenit
but
lagi
where
nih,
you
di
use
mana
it to-
heraldnya nih?
Ah, aku puter gua.
Ya,
10.82
loading
aja.
lagi.
Ya.
It's gonna be key here.
Gampang gua refresh goblok.
Nonton kecewa anjing.
Penonton kecewa.
So risky, but maybe, just maybe they're looking to go first.
Ronaldo
Gue pengen 2K meledak.
Oh bener 2K. Wah, anak PP sadar diri kau we kita. 2K lo Pokemon pantas muter-muter deh.
Harusnya Lord Gorsky, iya harusnya gila kali.
And that's what I was kind of saying, like they didn't have vision on Junja, so it's so scary to try and push up that.
2 kapan resolusinya 2
Iya anjing langsung pik meledak langsung PC gua
Emang di YouTube bisa apa 2K?
Bisa anjir.
Dia bisa dia bisa 2K.
Di Twitch cuma 1060, 1080.
Di Twitch.
80.
Iya, 1080 60 fps. Di Twitch.
Di sini di YouTube bisa 2K. Tapi kalau untuk lebih cepet-cepetan lu kalau pengen nonton gak usah di Twitch karena dia real time banget. Tapi kalau gua nyari
I felt like that Domi
biar
stayed there
cepet ya biar nggak terlalu
for
berat.
like a lot longer than it normally does.
Biar nggak
I mean, double try to
nggak
fix this item on set, and they have got a pretty decent one.
Kalau nonton di Twitch anjing gambar jernih banget.
Yeah, that lane economy is starting to get bigger and
Meledak,
bigger for PSG in that top side, and it's becoming
Komputer
a
mau
bit of an
meledak,
issue
otak mau
because
meledak.
Nah, nih Pego nih. Mampus.
Bang gua langit yang mana?
those team fights. Audi
Bang langit yang mana? Langit
Udah.
Saha eta langit.
Ah, sumpah.
Header lu.
Vegonya selamat anjir.
Yeah, they tried to get the pick, but just not enough damage. And a good wall coming through from Miru as well, because you've already got that ultimate there for Odie to get himself back out of the harm's way. But because Junji had already used the flag and drag, wasn't able to follow across. Same with Odie, so they end up overcommitting then for the pick. And at least
Kalau di Jawa dulu makan bunyi begitu sendok kena piring digampar pakai cangkul lu. Kalau di Jepang hidung disuruh pakai sumpit.
Kagak dipuji anjing kalau di Jepang katanya.
Yeah, and you can see like yes they get a ton of success, but the damage just isn't quite there. So Audie's able to flash over the wall. Like, I thought it was a little bit of a dangerous wall coming through there, but actually worked out. Mirror gets the kill, but unfortunately to try and do so, he ends up way overextending. Good knock up then from Woody as well. You just find that speed for Wacko, and with the W popped, Zayag ends up getting the movement speed towards her target, so she's able to just chase that one down.
Ah, sama Muntun enggak tuh anjing. Sama Muntun.
And that's why he lost a lot of his health. Lost his flash.
Bos kena copyright sama Muntot, bukan Muntun, Muntot.
Maksud kamu apa Gor?
Muntot.
Maksud kamu apa itu Muntot?
Itu Gorsky itu artinya gor itu kan gorila, Sky itu langit, berarti gorila langit. Gorila terbang.
Get out of the position, and now R7 trying to set themselves up as well in this mid lane. Wacko needs to be so careful.
Yeah, it needs to be very careful. Mid lane going down.
Tapi bis, oh shit.
The flash is good, but can they get the damage afterwards? They do get Seo. The bomb comes in straight afterwards. A slice and dice will get him back over the wall.
Tapi ini scannernya selalu nggak tepat nggak ini. Tidak di momen yang bagus.
With 40 seconds on towards Dragon, they can even get the reset, use this rift tail that mid lane to get pressure and commit towards that Dragon as well. So really great timing there. Again, this is why you got to be so careful and trying to contest on that mid wave. PSG have so many different angles of attack, and they catch out Sale, such an important member for that.
Look, it is only a 1 kill, but you do get the tower. You do end up trading it though for a Rift Herald, tower in top lane, pressure around this Dragon in 20 seconds as well. Audie's nowhere near it, so the junglers are actually going to find each other saying, so sorry, didn't mean to be here. And it's a little bit of a 2v2 for the moment, but I mean, it's a Jarvan. There's not really many situations he's going to be able to knock it out of.
Yeah, the thing is though, they've now committed several members of R7 to this top side. We're going to only delay time until the Dragon comes up. You'll have PSG who are going to be in a position to try and follow up on that. But basically, PSG talent are trying to delay the opportunity for R7 to go towards this because they don't.
Kalau live gua kagak ada bilangin lah.
Iya.
Saya udah di terminate dari sononya.
Enggak, masih ada gua ini.
Biasanya kayak gitu, kayak kontol. Tapi waktu itu gua pernah nge-stream lo berapa pertandingan? Enggak. Nge-stream LoL tadi gua itu nggak aman. Komandi itu doang. Mau pakai tot doang tuh yang langsung di end streamin. Babi.
Maksudnya gimana gue babi gue?
Iya langsung end stream sendiri live lu kalau lu nge-streamin turnamennya buntot.
Tapi kok kalau influencer emang enggak ya gitu ya?
Gor.
Oi.
Misalnya kamu dapat endorse dari Mobile Legend, kamu mau? Enggak. Oke.
Kecuali ya endorse kan ini ya, kecuali gua boleh tetap main game lain kan gitu. Kalau dia kan kagak boleh main game lain anjing selain mobile.
Iya.
Lalu gua boleh kan.
So he should never really be getting caught there. He probably had the arcane shift
Aku
as
nggak boleh
well,
main apa yang
just
gua
not
suka.
reacting in time. And then this as well again, like just overextension. Like what is Leon's going to be able to do here with Audi? Like Miru, yes, can try and come in, but actually just ends up cornering off his own teammates in that situation. And Seo has got to play super far back here because he's
Ada
worried
itu
about,
Hansu lu kalau tahu tuh lu kalau PUBG itu kan si Krafton itu ada streamernya partner streamernya PUBG itu ini si siapa namanya orang Indo partnernya. Jadi dia walaupun udah nggak main ini tapi tetap didukung aja.
Dari Dewana.
Iya itu orang.
Iya. Dia walaupun ngekritik Krafton juga
dia kan
tetap
biasanya ini kan dia main
PUBG.
COD kan ya.
Iya.
COD.
Iya COD sama PUBG. Cuma dia sekarang main COD.
PUBG-nya apa di roasting kan sama dia tadi.
Iya.
Ya itu maksudnya dia terima kritikan berarti Kraftonnya gimana. Nah, ini sih monster apaan anjing orang kagak boleh main game lain tolol.
Oh, interruption. That's there's still a flash.
Udah nge-flash tetap mati.
Oh shit.
Iya.
Soalnya bedanya jauh amat dah. Itu berapa Gor? 20 berapa?
18.
Kalau di gua saat ini 20-25.
Gua 32.
Ya lu di Twitch ya?
Iya.
Oh, aku dari masa depan tuh Tutik 40, 41,
Bisa menit 40 gimana?
43. Aku dari
bedanya nggak sampai 10 detik mah aman mas. 5 detik kan 5-4 detik.
Orang pada 30, 20, 40 sendiri.
Main Bang Gor, aku lagi pengen nonton World sembari nabrak si Ono. Si mati ya kasihan udah buang flash, udah buang apa. Si ini kan aku lagi gibah. Kamu mau gibah, ayo kita gibah siapa? Mumpung gua nggak terkenal nih. Kalau gua udah terkenal kan gua syariah mulutnya.
Bisa cari aman ya.
Iya.
when they're given the opportunity, they're playing well around their vision.
Udah tahu sih Gorsky ini lagi ngeliat-liatin, ntar bisa coba di dia di SR nih, coba-coba. Oh nih tadi kayak gini mainnya.
Ya ilah yuk, gue mah gara-gara ini aja. Emang gue mah kalau liat email gue mah diintip mana-mana.
Oh set di apa?
Invitation banyak ke gue.
Anjas kelas.
Video suruh jadi badut dia.
Alah tai email aja ya.
Anjing, keren banget.
Salah.
Bawah war, mid war.
Kayaknya gitu gue kalau main tuh matinya pada dikit-dikit gitu.
Enggak lah Gor, kita kan satu mati kok mati Gor.
Lihat Gor.
Ya kawan.
Menit 20-an, vision score SP udah 70, 75. Menit 20.
10 aja syukur kalau kita mah.
Ini semuanya 2 digit vision score.
Lincah bener nih kok ini Nikonya kacau. Gue juga bikin item terlalu nggak tahu sih ya, itu kan orang ini masing-masingnya. Tapi kalau buat yang pemain-pemain baru dengan ngikutin rekomendasi, tapi itu kayak gini Neko abis Liandre langsung bikin void staff gitu kan kalah.
But then yeah, it must have just
Dia kan ngebut,
very
Gor.
overextension
Sakit banget
for
ini.
Drinker.
Mungkin voice
He had a lot of opportunity to try and bring that one back.
Gue jarang pakai campaign yang AP sih, jadi gue jarang bikin voice style.
Biasanya kan tuh kalau gua ya dari item mythicnya habis itu langsung ke apa tuh namanya? Aduh. Yang penetrasi itu yang satu lagi. Yang pakai itu hancur tahu dah pokoknya.
Iya.
Itu biasa gue langsung
Tahu.
itu. Jadi void start tuh kayak item keempat, kelima. Oh dia tuh langsung void start langsung.
Voice start kedua juga sebenarnya terlalu cepet sih. Coba lu dari Leandri cuma 80 ability power, dari voice start cuma 60.
Tapi kan ngincer penetrasinya dia, jadi benar-benar ngeburst banget gitu loh, Mas.
Murah sih, murah terus jadi mythic pasifnya dapat.
Itu kerjaan Gori.
Itu menit 24 mereka wardnya udah 87. Kok bisa ya?
Ya segitu normal anjir.
Buat aku nggak.
Digit aja yang terlalu jelek, digit yang aja yang terlalu jelek.
Aku menit 24 itu mungkin ya paling maksimal tuh 20 aku.
Nah iya, itu ada yang salah berarti.
24
Itu ada yang salah berarti.
Maksud menit 24 20 vision score.
Iya.
Mending kan install kan.
Mending main brawl sana.
Gua bawa vision ward 2. Mau gua di
main
posisi mana
brawl.
pas gua bawa 2.
Jujur jarang, males aku kayak.
Nah, itulah dia.
Nah itulah
Itu
kesalahannya.
udah terjawab tuh.
Telat
Iya.
berkembang waktu.
Baru nih mah anjing.
Iya, main brawl kan nggak pakai ward tuh, udah. Main brawl lah.
Iya.
Brawl palelo brawl.
Iya, pindah ke game sebelah aja anjir.
Bawel nggak tuh.
Brawl. Kayaknya Mas Wahyu yang main ML nih kagak ada ward. Mas Wahyu, Mas Rijal.
So at the moment, you can see both teams kind of in that stalemate, and nobody really wanting to commit. Don't know why he's there, but he's getting all the damage. He got the root as well.
Iya anjing. Ini maksud gua ini betul-betul belum. Si Rakan masuk, si Kaiden masuk, pada kabur kunci sama Jarvan. Ih manis banget kan tuh PSG tangan bro.
Terlalu banyak PC-nya.
Lu gua bilang Ram tak Alon yang menang Ram.
Gue jadi binatang dulu di komen.
Nggak ada scene. The wave is there. The base is gonna be absolutely left in tatters. 15 seconds, 6 seconds until sales up. Like they could just go for the end.
They might think about it. It is only game 1 of this best of 3. Looks like they're just going to back away afterwards. They've got the Hex Gates. Everyone just walking away from this one here.
Belum ada drone-nya.
They're going to turn and burn to the big purple worm.
They're immediately going to move over towards that. Now, you have TP for Mirror, TP for Bomb as well, so this could actually be a little bit risky, especially with Hex Tech Gates on the rim.
Iya, jalannya gitu.
Trying to move in to contest Maple.
Has got himself a fake one, faked us out as well. They have vision on this, so they know what's going down. Audie's got ultimate and flash, you can get on top of it. Shoe shot for Ross, lands on the Woody, they're putting them in. It's Fish and a Baron.
Oh shit.
The Baron, but can they get out with it? Flash out immediately, Bomb can't get into the fight right now. They're trying to get the stones.
Nah, ini bego anjing, bukan yang ngambil DG dari tadi.
Just a little bit too discoordinated from R7. You can see the idea, they just couldn't bring it together.
Yeah, they were just a couple of seconds behind and not quite able to get into pit, but we get a replay here. R7 walking in completely blind. I think PSG
Gara-gara nggak ada war tuh, jadi kalah tuh.
set up there. The
Gara-gara nggak ada war.
sets up beautifully for
Back
Woody to
replaynya.
come in over the wall as he gets the answer on
Jadi mati
towards the
semua
back.
gara-gara
He's
nggak
got
ada
the
war.
correct route. And it means that R7 going to move over towards the Dragon. They'll get it, but what else would they get?
What else can they get? Junja tried to do a little bit of a drive-by, does get the Cataclysm out. Sayo just going to get himself away from this one here. Stopwatch used by Junja means he won't get any more damage done onto him. And R7 are kind of caught between a rock and a hard
SPG
place.
emang the
They get
best.
themselves out. Audi doesn't
SPG
have full
apaan?
because he used it last
Seks
time.
pegawai.
Sacrifice. And now Woody tries to go for a
Ini
little bit more. Sayo, no
SPG
flash,
anjing.
doesn't have the arcane shift. They're just
Keles
all
promotion
out right
Gorsky.
now. And everyone backs themselves away. Good for R7 to get the Dragon, but I mean, you still have a Baron to contest with.
SPG emang
Problem with
defense
the
sudah
weather
sebungkus
resets on R7, they went
SPG.
back to base, so they weren't able to immediately burn down the Dragon. as PSG were resetting after Barnes. So PSG
Orang
not gonna
Makassar
get the
nih,
kill, they're now
PSG.
going to get bot
PSG
terror after this,
Waku.
and they're going to get this bot inhibitor as well. You
Waku.
just don't have the people you need to defend this, especially with mid-wave now there as well.
Yeah, you have to be so careful here, Aseo. He just needs to make sure he's not getting caught out. Junja has got a flash. He'll go for a flash.
Mereka tadi
find
nanya
drag
kok
if
ada
he really
Mbappe
wanted
katanya.
to, and that's going to be another inhibitor turret exposed. Will they
Mbappe.
get the second inhibitor? That's the
Iya, ini
question.
kan ini kan PSG, kok nggak ada
Fantastic with these
Mbappe.
roots as well. You can't even
Oh,
because he just
astaga.
always has 6 or 7 feathers dotted around the place.
Ansu mana nonton bola.
With that, as soon as Ozzy shows up,
Siapa yang bilang?
we're gonna
Ansu
go
kan
to
penyepong
5 seconds.
VTuber.
Can't really do particularly much.
Sama si Rahma berdua.
mati aja kena ignite.
VTuber nomor 1 gua.
Sumpah.
Berapa lama sih Ignite anjing?
Pas Wahyu nonton di mana sih? Kok cepet banget?
YouTube.
Anjing.
Thinking that one because not as clean
Kata
as they were hoped
anjing,
for, but
kata
they still
anjing.
managed to pick up the win.
Absolutely. Look, I think it's definitely kind of kudos to PSG. They were thrown a lot in that early game. It definitely felt like R7 came in with a game plan. And thankfully for PSG fans, they were able to kind of
Kosong
bring that
gor,
back.
PSG
Kind
talon
of
gor.
deal with the adjustments, get themselves to a much better position. And then once they found themselves in those big team fights, like we mentioned with the kind of Venn
Udah
diagram,
PSG sih gua sih.
they found themselves having an awful lot more kind of ease in these team
Lama
fights.
banget.
Tuh orang suruh minum Red Bull begitu kagak ginjalnya kagak pecah apa ya?
Itu kan, tapi gua mau tuh itu enak tuh
Jangan doang sih tapi ya.
And they kind of found that success in the early points, but
Sponsor kan
they just
itu?
never
Isinya
really were able
dummy,
to follow
iya.
through with Seo getting caught in the mid
Nah,
lane,
isinya mah
Seo
beneran,
gets
Gor,
down
kayak
the
gitu,
mid
Gor.
lane
Tapi kan
side.
masih
Then
puluh tuh nggak ada yang minum.
Audi getting caught at times as well.
Nggak ada, ya
They
kalau
just
maunya
end up
boleh
kind of
gitu, kan
falling
sponsor
apart
aja
for
itu.
them as the game went on.
Yeah, and look for R7.
Tapi kalau isinya cilok kayak
Tapi lu udah pernah minum itu belum? Udah pernah minum itu belum?
Gua belum. Latih deng doang gua.
Coba lu minum itu dah. Kalau kagak lu melek seharian.
But I still feel like there's an awful lot more in this
Nggak
series
apa-apa,
than
dia
maybe
bisa
meets
nonton
the eye. I
anime
definitely
terus.
feel like they
Benar.
can maybe take this to a
Oke.
different
Astaga, minum itu
Gila,
cuma
anjing.
I think
nonton
execution also
anime.
just an easier to execute draft. Like this was
Red
always
Bull
gonna
sama
be
Keting Ding kan sama.
just how many
Beda.
opportunities they had with
Beda,
Delta,
beda.
some
Beda.
for PSG talent bus. Yeah, bit
Gambar
sad, but
itu
for
ya
us,
doang
I
yang
think
sama
they
tuh
can
apa? Bantengnya
absolutely
doang.
can, but we're gonna bounce
Berarti
it
lu
over to
Red
the
Bull
Alex.
sama
That's going
ini
to be
PDI
fantastic
sama dong
traverse
anjing.
effect, and that can-
Thank you so much,
Banteng merah kan?
Machine. Look at us, there's all 5 of us. The delightful tag down, the fantastic travel. Oh, it's such a
Bercandanya
great
sudah di luar
game.
konteks.
Coming into that game, I was very nervous, very anxious for R7. I think when we saw the draft play out and saw the potential, especially for the team fighting from PSG, I also was hopeful Junji was going to be a
Waduh.
lot more active on the
Waduh,
draft.
rasa pipis kerbau.
So before we get into
Waduh.
that, let's talk about the draft just a little bit. What did you make of it? Were there any big surprises or shocks? Maybe Raz, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me, I like the idea of J4 and Tazaya Rakan on the PSG side. The
Udah
criticism
milih.
that I would levy towards R7 is that they picked Talia on 3. Love it, right? You're on red side,
Belum
picking
ada ya.
Talia on 3. It's a great flex. You want to maybe hold it for 5. They actually just completely punted it on 4.
Anjay, mana Gor kalam.
Iyalah.
Go Nico
Gila.
and make it incredibly difficult for Viego to even play the game. So
And to translate
makes no
for
sense.
translating NFL Twitter. Nevertheless, okay, GB, talk to me a little bit in terms of the draft role, then maybe moving into the early game. What were your expectations, and did it go to what you were thinking?
I think there was a lot of windows that
Gors,
was actually missed
Gors, kalah, mana
by
kalah?
PSG.
Gors.
I think R7
Yuk.
got exactly what they
Itu
wanted out of the
gameplaynya
first
si
few,
Hu
and actually
kelihatan
three
ya.
clears of how
Lihat
the
di
jungle
open
panned
chat
out.
tuh animasi
J4 needs to be
ultinya
a
tuh
lot more
gambarnya.
active than Viego does. And while the track-in on PSG
Cek,
at times
keren.
was
Apa
on
nih yang
point
kuning kuning?
on
Apa
Audi,
bedanya
I don't
kalau
think they
Katinding
actually
sama
made a
pipis
lot of it.
kerbau?
There was multiple stacked waves on top lane where Junjia could have died. I could have even have seen them go for
Jangan-jangan yang kita
on
minum
the
itu
bot side
pipis
just to
banteng.
help them out with how the pressure works.
Lebih nggak
Red
masuk akal lagi lah
And also
anjing.
just
anjing.
get into a Rakan specifically where you can shut down the early
Tergantung
pressure
nih,
with that.
anjing.
So I think there was a
Tipis
lot of
banteng.
windows that was missed, and that also made
Nggak
the
jelas
game
penjelasannya.
way slower for PSG than it should have been, but put R7 in a really good spot.
Actually, this is a pretty good example for what
Kayak
feels like the rest of the
Darren
tournament.
sih.
The multiple patches that we saw. We saw
Ah,
Martin
Darren.
connect in. We
Enggak,
saw
ini
buffs
si
to
Mas Wahyu.
Kennen.
Freak is out there and he's super happy. He's like, I nerfed the magic resist on Renekton, and they counter pick with an AP champion. They did it!
Mau lihat gameplaynya nggak,
Let's
Gor?
talk about the early game, talk about the leads.
Tapi-
How significant was
ya,
it?
tapi
Because
Taruh
jangan
aja, taruh aja,
dilakuin
taruh
lu.
talking about the CS advantages
Di
at
PC ya,
about
PC
minutes,
Discord ya.
we were hoping, we were praying Junji was going to go
Sama
top.
Kalam lu, mau lihat nggak Kalam?
CS advantages, and
Gua kirim aja.
you know,
Taruh aja
was,
Mas, aku
were
lihat.
you concerned at any point there that R7 were not
Prediksi yang
going to
menang
be
siapa
able
ya?
to, you know, bounce back?
Yeah, I was pretty concerned.
menang World.
Just kind of focusing on how critical it was.
Evos
We talked
jadi-
about it having
jadi
that advantage. It was
Evos Palelu.
23 CS advantage
Aura
at
eSport.
8 minutes for the
Oh,
cannon.
eSport.
Aja was completely controlling that matchup. We saw what was a
Si
7 CS
si
lead
Phoenix
from
sudah
Mobo, which
nggak
is
main.
fine. It was pretty
Habis
minimal,
dari
but
lu
in general, we just saw,
ngentot.
as you mentioned, it
Kita
was
yang menang
a
lah, Gor,
nice early
PS.
game overall
Kita
for
menang.
R7. We expected a
Kalah.
larger deficit, but then I was like, wait a minute, there's a goal lead happening here for PSG. Where is it? solo lanes. I was like, okay. So the criticism you had a little earlier on, we saw a little bit of it.
But I actually think R7 leading into the first drift out. I thought that they could have crossed map and killed Wako because he's usually alone. Instead, what they did is that they sent their TP user down bot to actually stop
Naga Loli terus Naga.
But then this is where it becomes really messy, and the point you're addressing, Raz, the fight, the way it starts out from PSG is way too sloppy. You said that J4 gets caught in the beginning.
Lihat tuh di open chat, guys.
There's possibility for Nico to come in. Finally, the Nico also comes through, but multiple members have already died. So from the solo laners, with the possible lead you could have had, and the setup with a J4, Kennen, and a Nico, that fight was just played out really bad.
Exactly. PSG, I think, had all the cards at the very beginning. They had the slow push on bot side. They could get Rakan up towards the top side.
Naga apa serigala kayak serigala, Mas?
Serigala
ya. Kindred itu ya.
That play of having their bot lane swap mid was a really good adaptation that gives me more hope.
It's a simple thing, but something we don't see too often. It was just something that shut down a strategy we saw PSG use a lot, where they just leave Wako alone.
One of the things I did see or I did feel throughout many of these skirmishes, a little bit of mechanical misplays, a little bit of questionable decision-making, especially early on in many of those skirmishes. I will chalk that up to first game on stage, first best of worlds, right? But it's not exactly the cleanest opening game from both of these squads. I will say, though, as the game continued to play out, PSG's team fighting composition, the wombo combo, the circles, as Oshin and Dagda were talking about, they really started to take over.
It's funny because it just didn't stop. Right? You blow flashes for the G4 Cataclysm. You're like, I think maybe this is we need to deal with the Kennen ultimate. Okay, maybe we're good. And then Nico comes from behind. It felt like there were multiple waves of engages that they had to deal with.
Yeah, we can see the way that it leads up to it in this fight that goes pretty much both ways. The TP interrupt came through in the top lane, but what you need to pay attention to is not actually who dies, it's who's flashing right here, because this is going to be huge in the Drake fights leading up to it. In the coming fights, Dak already addressed it. R7 comms was a bit hard to play. It becomes even harder when you don't have flashes. In this play specifically, no flash to Leah, no flash on Odi. Seo does have flash, he still gets qualified, but that makes it even more difficult, and that's why they start losing. R7 starts overextending when they don't have flash, and with your composition going into the composition of PSG, you cannot be allowed to play like that.
Yeah, and it feels like R7 specifically was cutting corners on how they were playing setups on the siege on mid lane, right? Because you saw the Nautilus that was on the top side of the map expecting that's where the flank was going to be. But yeah, the Nico's coming through the bottom side of the map. What killed me was the fact that the players that did not have flash survived. It was Sales that had blink and flash that died for it because he didn't have the reaction speed on that one. So like a lot of props to PSG that had a little bit of deficit after the Rift Herald, but then through their mid game were able to reclaim the game.
Egonya skill damage from Archie as well. But I also just think that in general, the games are slow in the early game. What it really comes down to is how you set yourself up for the Drakes, because that's where the big fights will be happening between the two teams. They both had incredibly high Drake percentage in their own regions as well, so that's where they want to pilot the fights. They need to set themselves up better for this instead of moving forward.
Watching this game, I initially was very frustrated at PSG. I wanted to see why I wanted Ginger to be active. I was very angry. Now that we've actually run through this first game, we've talked about it a bit more.
Lagi pada sholat dulu kan habis azan tuh.
Oh iya siap. Let's see whether or not those nerves. Let's see what those stage settles.
If there is one thing, like, I would actually love not to see Junji on the Java and just something different.
We do have to go break. We do have to go break. We're gonna head to a ad break when we come back.
Tapi lot ini lot keren lo kemarin main. Lot.
Load main.
Load. Ini dari Brazil. Ntar jam 5 gam lawan Load. Anjir. Tinggal tuh Load sih.
Berarti lanjutnya besok itu.
Banget nih. Gue pengen bikin turnamen sendiri gitu. Lah gimana caranya ntar bikin komputer dulu bikin turnamen sendiri.
Skip.
Mau dong, ayo sini.
Aku skip.
Kenapaan?
Ntar gue udah dulu.
Aku skip.
Pro. Ayo. Boleh. Bentar ya.
Pro.
Ayo, pro yuk.
Pengen
Bentar.
Ini beli secret lab 7 juta. Beli PGA 2 biji gua.
Mau ngapain udah biji? PGA 2 biji.
Apa 3 biji?
Mau ngejelas gue emang lagi
Suara lu pada kayak titik cerita.
Lu.
Emang iya?
Nakannya siapa yang bangsa?
Gua. David.
Ada.
Suara pada kayak titik.
Oh, yang mana?
Suara lu patah-patah.
Emang iya? Sekarang juga masih?
Enggak, sekarang enggak. Tadi.
Ya tadi, ini kan internet gua internet kontol. Tadi.
Tadi kan patah-patah lagi kan?
Bangsat.
Berikutnya nggak gue aram gue.
Aram gua kan gua lagi iniin. Ini nontonin World.
Sabar, Cok.
Yang aja nih bu,
Kan lu
yang
main
mau
apa?
ikut, yang mau ikut ini gua,
ya.
yang mau main
Gue aram ya.
Pro.
Enggak, aku mau main hyper.
Hyperroll udah kita berdua ya Kak juga.
Bentar.
Ya,
Hyperroll kan lu? Gua aram.
Sabar, yang main hyperroll sabar ya.
Hypersex.
Mulai.
Join yang masuk main Hyperroll, joinnya.
Login apa tuh?
Kita ML.
Mau diwarin Gori ntar.
Di sini HTML.
Oke. Let's go.
Yang main ML nggak usah masuk server sini lagi ya.
Iya.
Gua uninstall anjing, gua uninstall bangsat. Gua tuh masih main ML penasaran sama Mythic Immortal doang, Gor. Glory mah udah bosan gua.
Buset.
Mana si Rama? InQ malah.
Kan gua aram, Gor,
Oh,
enggak TP gua.
Ya.
Oh, skip.
Gua
Ini
aram.
ada bug Daltot nih.
Ini gua ngintip jatuh kalau nggak mau gua tinggal.
Lagi lost streak aram nih 3 nih.
Gue ranked aja ketemu begitu banget. 3 kali ranked. Aduh. Turun lagi deh.
Oppo Find N3 Flip, Snap for Style, Tap for More.
Oke, baik aja 61 lu. Temennya nge-fit lu, support.
Lah itu mau main Gor?
Apa?
Itu mau main.
Kan bisa digini
Pertandingan.
nih, gua ajarin nih caranya nih, klik kanan 2 kali, picture in picture tuh. Dulu gua ajarin tuh.
Ajarin apa tuh, Gor?
Itu picture in picture.
Enggak.
Oh,
Ratenya ada sih 3.
Ah, 5 lah, udah enak dapat Miss Fortune.
YouTube. Terus sambil main Genshin, main apa bisa sambil nonton YouTube, Hansu. Klik kanan 2 kali di YouTube-nya, terus picture in picture.
Waduh, dia ajarin tuh.
Itu si Hansu biar paham.
aku kan masih pemula.
Set if you wanna I'm in dong.
Pakai
Jelas.
tes David.
Nggak bisa gua pakai trash gua.
Tarik-tarik aja udah.
Sumpah itu stiker merah yang di YouTube tolong nggak bisa dihapus kah?
Sama aja sama kayak di Discord gue emot anjing pengen gua hapus.
Ya lu itu dari
dipakai mulu sama Alfredo anjing. Itu kalau ada statistiknya pemakaian terbanyak emot anjing Alfredo.
Kalau di YouTube gue berarti Gor ya. Emot lucu itu tuh antara marah atau enggak lagi males itu jadi lucu kesana anjing.
Awah.
Nanti logo YouTube gue gantiin dia jadi biar makin kesel liatnya.
Carinya yang PNG Ram.
Apa PNG?
Iya, biar belakangnya tuh kagak ada. Kayak kemarin lu ngasih tuh kemarin belakangnya titik-titiknya kan, kotak-kotak. Cari PNG biar belakangnya tuh kosong.
Bodo amat kan tujuan gue, yang penting lu mukanya aja biar kesel, nggak mikirin belakangnya gue.
Jelek aja. Gue jadi nggak kesel sih.
Udah mulai Gor, gak jadi Gor. Udah mulai.
Ini gue sambil nonton. Serang nggak apa-apa.
Bisa sambil nonton.
Enggak fokus.
Kasian. Kasian yang main duaan nih.
Ya, nggak masalah. Waktuku banyak.
Anjay, sombong.
Sampai pagi kan? Sampai pagi.
Enggak. Jujur loh, aku kesini nggak bawa duit.
Ini bawa kontol.
Sama kayak makan nasi padang nggak bawa duit ya.
Iya, kalau masalah lapar mah belakangan.
Ada Hansu nasi padang nggak bawa duitnya, terus tadi ditagihin parkir sama orangnya, kang parkir Hansu. Ada orang begitu, terus bentar bang, saya ambil duitnya dulu, abis itu kabur Hansu. Goblok.
Virgo Darel Evandra.
Kenapa?
Gio, Darel, Evandra, siapa tuh? Ya udahlah, aku orang kita aja lah.
He wasn't Ezreal.
Nggak kenal lagi.
You know what?
Sneaker baru kita main, nanti jam 5 baru.
Certainly still needs to be quick on the trigger finger. With the
kan
Maokai tank coming in the upside, Audi going to go back towards something that he's happy with, which is going to be that stage 1.
Ansu
So I think
merdeka.
you open up now for Maple to potentially go towards an AD mid laner if he wants to with the Maokai there. But even yesterday we saw that
Saya dan
that isn't
saya
really
lagi.
I think control mages just
Kayaknya
so
salah aku
incredibly strong in this
PKI
match that
PKI
people will
pilih
start to
KI.
tend back towards that style instead. But Jace didn't get any touches and still very, very strong.
And still Maple's most played champion by a mile within the PCS. Like something he is incredibly prolific on. And even as you pointed out to me right now, a 91.7%
Pantes disuruh pakai trash biar depan gue ya, lupa gue.
12 games. I mean, this guy is comfortable to say the least.
Yeah, very, very strong pick. And again, gives him a lot of control of mid lane.
Nekonya di ban
pushing lane. Also, just the opportunity that if you want to go towards something like an Ezreal, you got a lot of poke that can try and come through with that. So can be a bit difficult, but also just a very strong
kerip lagi
team
depan
fight
gua,
regardless.
anjing.
So I like the direction that PSG are going for. But again, I think this is a comp that kind of requires a bit of patience, which we didn't quite see in the last game. They were a bit all over the place. So curious to see how they want to try and operate this one.
Yeah, I think that was something we were talking about a little bit on the break, is that it was just kind of a little bit scrappy at times from PSG. Kind of finding that we mentioned it a couple of times during the match as well, is that it was kind of your turn, now tag out, now tag in.
Pakai sepatu resist kali ya, buset. Ngeslownya parah banget.
It'll be a lot easier to do it this time around, but I do feel like if the Maokai goes in or the Rakan goes in isolated, they're going to get burnt down so quickly.
That's where I want to see just take it slow.
Iya, Kang Bong
Have
dia
the
mas.
opportunity to try and look for this. A lot of engage coming through from R7 though, so a lot of opportunities to try and punish if PSG talent do end up getting
Gorengan bilangnya
so again,
satu ngambilnya dua
anjing. The last one, I think Lions had a great performance on the Nautilus, catching out Junja several times, getting key hooks onto Wacko times as well, but not quite being in a position to follow up. But Ken going to be taking away a lot of those. It's kind of what Mark Z was saying yesterday. It's like, oh, this comp hurt us in the last game. Get rid of everything.
I don't like this anymore. I don't want to play this game. But I mean, look, I kind of get it. And honestly, I think this Ezreal ban is fantastic. When you mentioned it just there, that the poke that could have been coming out would have been enormous had you not taken away that pick.
Yeah, surprised to see the Silas though. Not something that, like, I know Silas is doing well, well in the current patch, but it's kind of in towards a lot more of the control mages versus something like the Jace, where you don't really get access to that ultimate. But I suppose with having the Rakan and Maokai there, they are a little bit nervous about that one. Cassante hovered here for Bong, great pickup, very easy to operate in that top side, and just a strong blind pick, which leads to for this counter pick. He's still more than likely going to tend back towards something like maybe the Ari that we saw already, something like the Azir. Both these mid laners very high on that pick. And even just having something that can have a little bit of range against the Jace is
Orianna is still gone through the pack. And
I think she's so strong.
I know, right? But not even just so strong in her own sense, but also the fact that you can just cover so much of this poke with your command protect. You have so many ways of kind of like shielding, healing, and kind of movement speed to disengage away from the Rakan. There's so many little things like that. But the Rumble locked in at the moment, kind of really looking to try and push in that top lane advantage that PSG had in game number 1, keeping in with the AP theme.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very strong comp coming through PSG talent. You got great setup, as you say, with the Maokai, the Rakan. A lot of long-range poke with the Rumble and the Jace. And now, I was going to say, to go towards the Kai'Sa, got a good amount of poke as well coming through off that. But the key factor is, like, just having that follow-up DPS. Going to go... Actually, I'm not a big fan now of the Aphelios. I would have preferred the Sivir just to kind of help get into these fights a little bit thicker when you do throw everything through. And yeah, I think PSG talent, like, when Orianna was a threat, you're now putting Aphelios as a very close quarters fight, Rumble, Maokai in a similar boat.
The only real long range
kombonya
threat that you have is going to be that Jace.
Oriana
I think that can
sama
be a
si-
struggle now as you start to get in towards fights with Sejuani jumping forward, the knowledge jumping forward.
Bujang.
Oriana. So
Apa?
actually,
Jungle yang meta sekarang apa?
could have that
Master
opportunity.
Yi, Master Yi dia mah.
Cuma apa aja mau patch berapa juga ngomongnya Master Yi, Hansu lu salah nanyanya.
Iya makanya salah gue nanya.
It's starting to look a bit, kind of dangerous in those kind of small skirmishes
Kalau
where you can
hitung-hitungan
you can just take them away
itu
completely, get the all out, come, get them isolated into a 1v1, and all of a sudden you're in a much better position here as R7. PSG though, they have plenty of options, like you said, plenty of both. It's gonna come down similar to game number 1 as execution.
Jungle
the problem is that we kind of saw PSG talent struggle with that execution coming into game number 1, and that's where I think if you go towards the opposite side, well, Sejuani great at pick.
Jungle Garen lah.
Although we talk about Oriana being
Lagi Jungle Garen.
Ya kemarin win streak aku anjir.
So I think you do have opportunities as R7 to disrupt that. I'm curious to see exactly what the game plan is going to be.
He's not here. He's in spirit.
Yeah, he's probably co-streaming somewhere.
He's almost somewhere in the ether. We can feel his presence.
Still rapping about the shy.
Yeah, propaganda, by the way, and I'll stand on that hill. Not going to talk about that until Swiss, but we are obviously picked and banned out in game number 2. We're going to jumping straight onto the Rift and see if PSG can make it a clean 2-0, keep themselves in that winner's bracket, or if R7 have got themselves something fun in this series to bring us to.
Enggak tuh bayangan.
He's just seeing how much R7 showed up in the last one. Like actually having that early aggression that was a struggle for PSG talent. I really thought the PSG talent that would be kind of the strength of Junju coming in with the Nico as well. But the fact that R7 were able to find that success kind of has me a little bit more hesitant for PSG talent. Where I think now it's going to be a case of like, can they actually have
Star Guardian Urgot lah.
Bilang Agra sakit banget ya.
Ada Agragas.
Now Takeover was the team last year.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They could glory and grind their way into this game.
Perfect. Good man.
Masih gue lagi nunggu itu Kadias Urgot deh.
Well, we'll see. The glory and the grind is truly worth it coming out from either of these sides. And this is the great thing about the new setup within play-ins as well. Like, you get not only more matches between individual matchups, you get more opportunities to kind of make your move. Again, even if R7 lose today, yes, it sucks, but you have a lower bracket. You can still push forward and make something of this play-ins. And I really do feel like we are going to come into a situation where that lower bracket could mean huge implications for a team that just kind of, maybe shows improvement, but hasn't been able to do it on the first day.
Yeah, and I think it's as well, like, just kind of looking to see all the different setups and the histories that we're starting to get now, because we had things like MSI, where we got to see these teams kind of face off against each other.
Bisa apa
Like
aja
PSG
ini kayak
Talent, the opportunity to go up against Loud again. We're looking at R7 as well, going to go up against Gam. Like, those are kind of like the mini rivalries that we're starting to get across the course of this. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how both these teams end up going up later on against these squads as well.
Iklanin ini.
We connect the narrative. You at home can connect your League of Legends account with Prime Gaming to grab the exclusive experimentation emote. Nice little heimerdinger there. I think it's hexperimentation, or is it experimentation? I thought it was hexperimentation.
I mean, we're League of Legends. It has to be experimentation.
This is explosive in the bot side. Nice little bit of movement here from R7. Again, we saw this in game 1 as well. Twice in a row, they've been able to get that early level 2 and really put pressure here onto Wacko and Woody.
Yeah, I mean, like, usually you can kind of see Felios have some sort of control over these lanes, but very difficult when you end up with the squad matchup. And both about to get on towards Woody, and there's no reason that you should have to give over that. Like, okay.
Oh, that minion! Oh, get down, Mr. President. Wacko needs to buy that minion a dinner after this because that saved his life.
Yeah, but I was going to say, like, Wacko completely out of pots now. You're looking at both pots burnt by Woody as well. So a huge amount of this early aggression from R7 is paying off. Like, Wacko, I don't know if he can kind of push up here for the next one, because even an Ignite, a hook, anything landing might be a bit of a disaster.
Apa lagi nih Aksan pakai Dark Harvest buat
This is
apa
Sayo
lagi?
kind of doing to Wacko what Wacko did in that first game, constantly putting down the feathers, constantly making you think, are you going to be okay? Do I have the drawback? Do you have the position to walk up onto this? And even then, you can see Sayo with the on the side. Gorsky goes down. They almost get the feathers. I love the idea there from Sayo. Not quite able to land all the damage though.
But that's what I was saying, right? Like, you didn't even have to use the flash there. Just misposition. aggression coming through from Wacko, and Leons is there to punish. So now Wacko has to reset. He's going to miss out on these waves. Immediately Odie coming down as well to try and cover off on this play. A really good aggression from the R7 bot lane.
Yeah, 4 minutes, get yourself a plate. That's going to accelerate you towards that first item. Really, really well done. And again, like we said, we were pleasantly surprised with the kind of the level that R7 were able to play. Again, I don't think it's unfair to say that they are very much underdogs in this matchup.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we said at the start of the day, like, a failure for PSG Talon feels like not getting out of this group and getting into groups itself. So the fact that they're struggling so much in this bot lane is kind of telling at the moment. But I mean, great play from Seo and Leons, and the fact now again, Wacko is going to be behind, can open up opportunities for Leons to start to go for roams as well, especially as Seo starts to hit level 6, and he's got a bit more safety underneath this tower because Wacko's going to be behind, trying to move up towards Rift Tower. This really gives a ton of opportunities for R7 to play off that. I mean, even look at Leons at the moment, starting to hover towards that mid. Probably won't be able to make anything out of it, but can cover any sort of gank that might be happening at the moment.
Yeah, well, level 6s will be hit soon here between the solo laners, but we'll have to wait and see. Bot lane is definitely the pressure point for R7 for the moment. We'll see if it does lead to any kind of major advantages or not. I do like that Bomb's still able to kind of get most of the CS here. He is in a losing lane, he is going to fall behind. He knows what his position in this team is, and it is to kind of isolate the Aphelios out in those team fights. But obviously, we've mentioned that the Orianna is broken. We've mentioned that they are so extremely strong. I want to tell me why. Why is it broken? Why now has it become just kind of big?
I mean, she's just got over several different patches. Like 3 or 4 patches in a row, she just kind of started to get more and more power tweaked in towards her. And especially when you're looking at, hey, look, we're getting these, the amount of power that she has then is just incredibly strong. You're getting nerfs towards Tristana and some of these AD mid laners as well. They're just setting up here.
Yeah, he's going to look to wait to get the flash out of him afterwards. So there's a shockwave bringing them back in. So a little bit of a switcheroo, but I think Miru is very fortunate to not be going down there. Covered myself a little bit. Shockwave does decently there. I think he would have loved if they took another tower hit or so, but still gets out with only losing his flash. Oh, got a move in this mid lane. There's the cleanse coming out. They will be able to stop Woody from getting a fully clean engage, but Cleanse burned anyway because Seo still without his flash.
Yeah, I mean, you're still going to be able to pick up this wave. The Seo taking a little bit of a hit though, still has that lead, will still be fine. Should be able to cover this one mostly, but you can see the move from Maple. I actually don't know if Lane wanted that one take. Maple is waiting for the wings here. Just going to pick up the fruit for the moment.
Patuh dulu. Patuh dulu.
Gimana prospeknya itu sekali recall cuma kebeli
cuma punya
but
they're getting a lot of damage on the Wacko. The feathers don't come back just yet though. The turret's still doing damage. First blood goes over. It's a 1-for-1. Both supports picking up kills.
Yeah, Wacko went way too early on that play. Tried to get into a position where he could follow up, but nobody had actually started tanking on his behalf, so the damage wasn't able to churn out. He gets into a difficult position, and Woody has to give his life as a result. So a bit messy on the play. At least they do get the kill, so Maple will at least force one wave to be missed by Seo, but not the best of plays from PSG Talon.
Not the best. Still 1-for-1. They get the first blood, and they get a couple of 100 gold as well. So you see this wave. I feel for Bong right now. He wants to crash this so badly. He's like, it's in such a terrible position, not able to do it. But yeah, like you said, Wacko kind of just walks forward, and then they just kind of go, cool, we're just going to engage on you.
Yeah, and you've already got a ton of feathers that are out. Really important for Seo that he couldn't actually get enough of the fruit down on towards Wacko, because I think that would have then been a turnaround play. Probably 2 kills going across to the R7 bot lane, but I mean, Wacko just way too quick on that play. Again, it's impatience that's coming back to bite PSG Talon in a lot of these equations.
A little bit of scrappiness, a little bit of impatience. We'll see now if PSG can kind of push themselves forward after that. It is still a decent move on the side. They will be able to kind of move forward knowing that that cleanse is down here for Seo.
Santai kalau lawannya kayak gitu Rumble gitu pakai itu Crossfire atau Jaxu.
Even Stevens, and I'm loving lines on this Nautilus in the laning phase. He really does
look confident and just kind of constantly looking for those hooks. Pengen balance mas
itemnya. Might need to hook away here though, because you can already see Maokai starting to come down into position. Wave is not in a good spot for R7.
Kan begini makanya kenapa penggaminnya Z. Kalau Z pasti bakal langsung Crossfire.
Look at the double knockup, but a root underneath the tower is not ideal. Seo gets crashed backwards, not quite able to get the root. That's just an easy little pickup here for the bot lane of PSG.
Nautilusnya nggak mau nge-TB-in ini anjir, ultinya mau kayak.
I mean, brilliant timing as well. Like, look at the purple barrel underneath Seo there on the right hand side of your screen. He was basically a minion or two away from level 6, and that play wouldn't have worked out. So just about getting in on that timer and finding that opportunity. So all that early game that we're like, yes, this is it for R7, is completely gone out the window. Wacko has the level advantage. He's got the CS advantage. He's going to have the reset advantage here as well and be able to pick himself up something nice. So I think this is where now PSG kind of starting to right a lot of those wrongs, and R7 again not able to play through the advantages that they picked up.
Yeah, there's that Feather Storm coming into
Kasante dalam
play,
hatinya
like
tuh
you mentioned
jungle
there for
diff,
Seo,
jungle
so he's
diff.
finally got access to that. We do see if Flashless Woody
Udah,
does
ada
get
dua
caught out
mikir,
for
Mas.
the moment.
Mengaruh.
They're going to look for a flash here onto the mid lane. They're going to try and jump on top of this one. Hook there, trying to bring back Junja with Shockwave. As he got knocked back, Miru is going to fall to this Ignite. That's Woody picking up his second kill of the game. And this is more like the PSG we expected to see coming into this matchup. They are much more cohesive, much more confident to look for those big fights.
Yeah, Woody and Junja are doing work in this one to turn around a lot of these plays. Like nearly a 20 CS lead coming through, and 15 CS lead was happening in that mid lane before Maple was able to pick up that lead. So Miru definitely having good control. But Woody coming up now with Junja to turn that around. 2 lanes righted, but maybe Woody's in the wrong place, but should be able to just dash away.
Still a Rakan, so he's got plenty of movement to get himself out of danger. We do see a little bit of movement coming in as well from the jungler, but Audie's kind of been a bit muted, to be perfectly honest. He hasn't really been in a position to make things happen, as you do get the goal difference over time coming in here, and little by little, bit by bit, it is just kind of going in favor of PSG. The feathers are being put down quite a bit. They will try out the ultimate miss. Unfortunately, if it does land, Wacko did have access to his cleanse, so I don't think it would have meant all that much.
R7 needed that to work, though. They're trading this for Rift Heart on the top side, and they can't. They will go towards Dragon, but you get Maple, who's coming back off this this reset in mid. He's going to be in a very strong spot. Like, they have to do this quite quickly. Push will come through on bot side, but Sale can't really stick around, so I'm a little bit nervous about the Dragon, although it looks like PSG not really wanting to over-contest here.
I do think that with Miru having full priority in that mid lane, it does make it a lot harder, considering there was a reset coming in from Maple, and he didn't want to use his TP.
It's just, you don't have a very quick Dragon, as you see, so that's where it could be a little bit dangerous, but yeah, they'll be able to take it. And now I'm looking at mid lane as Junja going to steal away the Raptors. Opportunity for an ult across the wall, but I think they're not sure exactly where the enemy jungler is. But more than likely just going to back them.
Yeah, very likely that the jungler could have just went straight mid after taking that Dragon of the global kind of call as such, but now kind of turning that from top lane, or sorry, from mid lane to top lane. Now we are going to see Bong just getting rooted down. Didn't get the CC away from it, tried to goes all out, tries to get him underneath the tower. It was almost a good thing, but Miru just TP in, now trying to find out where this rumble is going. Will be able to eventually find him, you imagine, but taking a fair bit of damage by ignoring Junja. There's the shockwave, does finally land, and they will be able to trade back 1-for-1. Good flash to get away from that accelerated shock blast. And R7, they're trying to keep this one going because I think they feel like it was kind of running away from them.
Yeah, a little bit. Miru able to get one back, which was nice, but you can see Ozzy with the side steps made him work for that one. PSG, though, able to move back down onto the spot side, but we're having a look here, like, nice play from Junja. I'm not sure when Bong used the W, though, because here you could actually get away from it, but must have just used it in the trade before this, and then knock back from Ozzy, good flash away. And then Miru, Junja just has no damage, so Miru is able to just ignore the big tree. The Whomping Willow, not too worried here. And then this was a nice shockwave, pulls Ozzy out of the bush, and just gets the kill before the rest of the team is able to show up. Maple tried to predict that flash, but just not quite able to get the position.
Yeah, I don't think the shock blast would have been able to kill him, but it definitely would have been a little bit more
I think it would have been
ho to go.
I think it would have set up them for the flash from Maple, then the full melee combo, and that would have been a dead Miru. So luckily enough, able to get away from that. Audi, though, back on this bot side, wants to try and make some play happen, but I mean, Junja's here, and I just don't think your bot lane is strong enough right now.
Yeah, they've cleared all the vision, but I mean, you've cleared the vision while also revealing that your jungler is here, so very easy with the guns you have available to you with the Infernum and the Gravitum to kind of just keep yourself safe, but also just clear the waves as they're being pushed into you. So not exactly a great opportunity here for R7 to capitalize upon. And I mean, we have a quick look across the board now. We are starting to get first items coming in. You do have the Radiant Virtue coming out here for Junja, going towards that more tanky related build. We do sometimes see the Demonic Embrace, but this time around it is the more tankier variant, and the Duskbladed Drakkar. So Maple already in a position to be able to kind of go aggressive if he feels like he can get that kill, get that invulnerability, and kind of move away from the fight.
Yeah, and it does make it difficult for Miru to try and stay in the lane.
Udah hitam dibakar tambah hitam lagi.
The fact now that Maple gets to push waves pretty consistently.
Mainnya kejauhan.
Jungle, and I think that's where you're going to be looking to see kind of the mid to bot plays working between PSG. Junja and Maple want to try and get
some extra gold on
Ini
the
lagi.
table, like get this tower in a position where it's vulnerable with this Rift Herald. So having that support for Woody so he can get out and start to set this play up is going to be important. So keep your eyes on exactly where Junja is leaning towards, because more than likely, like right now, Woody's going to be quickly behind him.
Yeah, these guys are going to be the best of friends as they hang around this, this rift, and they're looking for kind of big engages. And that's the thing as well, with Woody and Junja having overcon on the Maokai, it's just such an easy 1-2 engage. You know, you drop down the Maokai ultimate like this, and you're able to kind of get Seo should have ult, and gonna use cleanse instead. Interesting. So valuing the ultimate, or sorry, the ultimate cooldown higher than the cleanse.
I'm surprised because I mean, there's no real like fight coming up in the next little while. Like you could have just had your ult open available for the next dragon, unless he's massively worried about some sort of like dive play here. But that's not really gonna happen. I think using your ult there would have been fine. And then you still would have been in a decent position. Like the cleanse cooldown is just so much longer. You just had both up for the next fight.
Iya. Berarti tuh ADC jungle support itu role antara 3 dan 12.
Kurang support sama jungle.
Tuh lu nyari ADC lagi boleh.
He would have just had both. But of course, there's the lane economy snapshot by MasterCard, and again, it's pretty good for everyone except for mid lane, and even then, 250, 269 is not really that big of a difference between the Jace and of course the Orianna, so very, very easy to see how R7, or sorry, PSG are going to find their advantages, especially in that top side, but the Rumble is getting so far accelerated.
I think for R7, what you have to try and do is like get control over bot side, then find a way to unlock lines with that, immediately move them into mid and try and pick before this 40 seconds on Dragon, but you're not really in a position to do that right now. You can even see they've rotated, say, on lines in towards the mid lane. Maple's gone for a reset, so they will get control over mid, and maybe they can try and look for a pick as this Dragon is starting to set up, but it's without the amount of vision that they kind of need to make this happen, it's going to be hard. Woody, though, is going to be sitting here, so maybe PSG, with just being able to slowly push back out, will force R7.
One more time. Have a look at it. It's changed. Look, Maple's getting closer. It's not even 269, it's 212. But a little bit of an engage here as we start to posture for this Dragon. This could be big for R7 as they may look for an engage. Cleanse has been used. So now neither AD carry has their cleanse, although Seo's one is up and a little bit short over time. We'll see if they want to go for anything there, but a big engage tool no longer available for R7. Again, you're looking at that Glacial Prison to really set up a fight.
Yeah, I mean, you still have lanes to try and set these up, but R7, this is the problem that you have. They're trying to make the pick before Maple could get into position with Jace. They had Miru off on a quicker track towards mid lane, but now you've given that control to PSG because they know, hey, we don't have to actually look out for Audi. It's a much more telegraphed engage that'll come through.
Good poke here with the accelerated shock blast. Again, if you don't see it coming in, you're not going to be prepared to put up those shields of the Nautilus and the Orianna. And the way things have kind of gone, you can see R7, they just don't feel confident to make that play. They say, look, we don't have the vision. We'll be walking into so many bits of damage. It's just not worth it.
And push mid very, very quickly and lean over towards the Rift Herald. The numbers advantage they have, but with the resets coming through, they're not in a position to do so. So PSG now are going to get Dragon. They should get good damage. I think they should get bot terror off this play. But also, I mean, even with the position that they're in, you can see Miru not really going to be able to hold on because Junja can try and threaten a potential dive here. And there's just nobody from R7 here to cover.
Who could be in a lot of trouble here. Needs to walk forward a little bit, but no, just get hit up. There's going to be a TP straight away. They're tanking the turret straight off it. The shockwave does come down, but it's just too easy. Hotel top laners TP in, but I mean, what way can you already make this one work? You're in a 2v3, not really in a position forward. They will drop down the equalizing the all-out just to bring Junja underneath the tower. He has to flash away. There's going to be the ultimate put down to Wako, who has no cleanse. A flash forward because the minion was standing in his way. A flash away by Wako, who finally puts down the ultimate. Moonlight Vigil does pepper down this damage, good Infernum damage. But I mean, it's PSG just kind of winning. It's R7 playing reactively, and unfortunately, it's not working.
Yeah, it's just the reset timers from R7 come back to bite them. They weren't on the map quick enough, so PSG go, right, we take Dragon, we move bot, we know that R7 have gone for reset, so we can actually try and go for this dive. So you get the double TP coming through, that still works out in favor of PSG. And now Maple going to get some good damage onto towards top side as well. The fact is, PSG have set themselves up with a 3,000 gold lead. They're going to get control over mid. They'll go towards Rift Herald. They'll extend that lead. And this is now where R7 are going to be in a ton of hurt. Odie trying to prevent that though by immediately moving top, but he's spotted.
Yeah, no element of surprise to come out from this one here. And that's going to be Again, this is why we kind of put PSG as such heavy favorites. This is what they were doing in the PCS, just, you know, kind of calling all the bluffs, constantly putting in questions to the enemy team and saying, look, you're just not going to be able to contest us. You're not going to be able to kind of front up to us. And unfortunately for R7 in this game, they just haven't had that same kind of presence that they did in game number 1.
Yeah, and they're basically doing what PSG want, which is, yes, we get control, but we're also just going to slam Wacko in the lane by himself and let him scale, let him get his items, so as we kind of make plays elsewhere on the map. So for PSG, this is exactly where their comfort spot is. Maple, though, maybe not being so comfortable.
Oh, he just had a sixth sense about it. Knew something was up, and Audi unfortunately gets spotted out there when he's over in shot glass. Now let's see, Woody was off to the side there, so it could have been a little bit of a bait there with the amount of players that PSG had on that top side.
Dari tiga semak-semak
They're
tuh.
going to try and cover for this on the play, but again, you're not really in a position to try and fight this as R7. You can see how nervous they are, especially with that tower just slowly being chipped away. But if you're committing 4 members to top side, fantastic. Ozzy is still going to be in a great position against Bong. You can see Bong actually surprised to see him go for the Iceborne Gauntlet, like a full armor build into the AP damage, which is why he's probably struggling as much as he is. But this was great from Junju. Knock back first to use the W to dodge the shockwave, so he never has to worry about that and can try and get out of range. So just nice decision making from Junju on the play. And then Bong here as well, you can see like how much damage is going to come down on him in a second. Like the AP damage is melting him with the build that he's got. Like usually you'll see the Jack Show coming through in a matchup like this where you still get those tanky stats and you can still at least have some impact in fights, but I'm just not a big fan of the Iceborne Gauntlet here.
Yeah, it does feel like it's kind of for Maple and Wacko, which is great, but also just not going to help you in the laning matchup that you're in, which is the Rumble and the Maokai. So a little bit unfortunate there, but look, we'll see if it does end up leading to anything more. We do kind of come up to about 20 minutes now. 13 seconds until the Baron spawns, only about a minute 30 until the next Dragon. It is a Mountain Soul, so plenty of value for both these teams. And I will say for R7, if they can get that Dragon stacking, it can be great for something like a Sejuani, a Cassante, and of course a Nautilus. But you got to get there. That's the thing. You can do all these beautiful wishes, but you gotta make them happen. You can't just sit there and hope they do.
I think at this stage though, we're gonna be waiting again for this next Dragon to come up. Minute 15 until that. That's where R7 can try and find something. But at least PSG, like, they're in a great spot. They've full control over mid. They've got the poke that they need. They're getting the vision control down. They've got the side lane control thanks to Ozzy as well. It's just making it so hard for R7 to make it happen.
Looking to find Wacko. They will catch him. Cleanse used immediately. They are backing this one away as well with a little bit of an ultimate from the Maokai. No full engage coming out. Audi takes a fair chunk of his health bar out. That's not a bad play coming out here from R7. It does burn off that summoner just before the Dragon spawns in 45. The Sejuani should be able to take a camp or two to heal up.
Yeah, I mean, at least you're getting something, but again, that big ultimate is down for R7 as they start to come into the fight, right? And that's kind of what we've consistently seen is, yes, it's nice to get the summoner spell down, but like the rest of the follow-up isn't there. Like you kind of want this more for as the fight kicks off, so maybe you can pick Ozzy, maybe you can pick someone else, but picking on towards Wacko every time is like fantastic. We're actually fine because 20 seconds until Dragon. Lions is your engage, I suppose, and you kind of hope for the best that he gets on towards someone that can that we can try and follow up on. But when you've got like Junja in the front line, Woody's going to be able to disrupt that engage. It becomes significantly more difficult for Nautilus to be that sole engage tool.
Yeah, and the thing is as well is that regardless of anything like that, you still have the Rift Herald as well to kind of go for this. Seo had to take a reset and go back to kind of heal up before this. TP comes in from Miru to try and cover this push, but all that effort, all that time and investment you put around this Dragon Pit to try and get something is not going to be there. And I was just about to say, just before Audi put down a pink ward on it, that is a TP ward for this Rumble if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, immediately. Going to have him in towards the backline. PSG though, like the amount of poke they have. Only going a bit far with Junja though.
Junja kind of going a little bit longer trip than he anticipated there. Lions throwing out a bit of a wayward hook, but for the moment it seems to be just fine for everybody to kind of just keep posturing around. Bot lane pushing in favor of PSG, top lane pushing in favor of PSG. They're dotting their I's, they're crossing their T's, and it's R7 who are going to start feeling the panic like now, and it means they can't contest.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. I mean, this is kind of just like a walk home now for PSG. Yes, you've got this incredibly strong pick in the Orianna, but even she's had to opt towards a Banshee's Veil, which because of how much damage Ozzy is doing, so which again, I'm not the big. I think you've got to just go for that soul damage here in this kind of position, but if you're going to play defensive here, I think you're just going to slip further and further behind. So PSG, they got good scaling coming, they got scaling on the Aphelios that's coming through, but I suppose if you can hit like mega late game for R7, you're in an okay spot, but with 2 dragons now until Soul for PSG and Mountain Soul to boot as well. Baron up on the map. Your opportunities to find that
I've seen this one
there.
before. I've seen this one before on the other side of the map. I know how this movie ends, but this time Miru is also going to go for it. Shockwave comes in just to delay it, but it's the same result every time, and again Bong comes in just to find his laner already dead.
Call it the Canadian, the Maple Tree going absolutely insane on this one with the picks that they're finding on the top side. Braz will be proud, but for R7 they're not so happy with it.
No, they don't want to go visit Canada anytime soon, but I mean, yeah, look, this is just kind of slow, methodical, very telegraphed, but also PSG, they know how the R7 are moving around the map. They know exactly how they want to make this, play this game, and it's becoming almost predictable how R7 are moving.
And it's like, everyone on R7 immediately responds to top side, and you're like, cool, we got Maple on the bot lane. So for PSG, as long as they can just walk this one out, which surely they do now, well, cool, now we've got a massive wave pushing into bots that you've got to deal with. So Maple's like, great, well now we've got numbers advantage for mid, let's rotate to mid. Tails like, I will try and clear this out, but in a second I'm going to be completely outnumbered. But R7 are going to actually be able to move into position, try and cover this. But in a second for Maple, it's going to be a tough speed.
Definitely feel how much that was going to hurt there for Sayo. He's not got any resistances naturally as a AD carry of his team, so looking at a 2.5 item chase coming in from the side would just be monstrous. The Banshee Veil does get finished up here finally by Miru, but I mean, like you said, it just feels like R7 are just running around the map like almost like a 5-man at all times, and then as soon as they kind of realize, okay, we don't need to do that, they get kind of caught out, and then all of a sudden it's predictable. So it does feel like a catch-22 for them, damned if they do, damned if they don't. PSG are just comfortable.
Gara-gara gak ada award anjir bisa diem di situ.
Yeah, Engage comes in, they're going to get the ultimates out, but can they get the damage in? That is the question. The Nautilus goes down, the turret finally goes in, Oni does flash away, the Shockwave good to catch Wacko. He just gets himself a Gale Force to get away from this one, and yeah, look at the health bars, like they did nothing comparatively, and it just feels like R7 are clutching at straws.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can turn towards Baron though. I mean, look, Lions is down, but you're going to have the resets coming through from R7. Unless Maple can get some good damage down, but they do have to be careful as R7 come back into the map. Lions being down does suck, but yeah, it looks like they just might be able to burn it down.
I mean, what ultimates are really available right now? You've got quite a lot to try and re-engage onto this. The all-out is there, but maybe just bait someone in. The vision control is in favor of PSG. Are trying to get anyone into an isolated situation. 4,000 HP onto this Baron. Yeah, PSG do not want the 50-50 just yet. They're going to just keep peppering down these damage, and they know they can go for bomb because he's going to have to go all out. Junjin takes a hell of a lot of damage, but he's able to walk away just at the last second. Everyone's just kind of moving in. It's a little bit of a 1v1 on the top side there as Lions joins back in. And now the Rumble's very isolated, not with his team. He may have to try and get out of this by his own, but he doesn't have flash. He has nowhere to go, and he's overheated, which means he goes down. Bong picks himself up the first kill of the game. And PSG, they didn't really know what they wanted to go for there. The Baron got too low.
But that's what the problem was. It's like, I think you had Adi that was still in a good position to actually get in towards the pit, so I was a bit worried about the 50-50, but also they just didn't have the burn damage that they needed. Although PSG are like, hang on a second, maybe we can try and sneak this. Not as confident though, as they start to see the rest of R7 get into position, but I wasn't sure how much burn damage they had, and I think they overestimated themselves there to be like, hey, we can try and burst this down before R7 get into position, but you can see Bong, like the second he steps up is in a decent spot. Junji here, good ult, great setup, and like there's nowhere really for R7 to run to. You try and move back, you're in towards the equalizer. Try to move forward, you're in towards the rest of the team. And I think that Shockwave only hitting onto one person really sucks there, because you would have liked to have that as a big follow-up play, but it's just not quite there. And Lions, again, great setup on the Aussie, he was just that little bit too far forward.
Yeah, Lions literally coming out of base being like, remember me? And it's like, oh, yes, that's right, we were 4v5. We didn't actually have all eyes on all 5 members, but still 5,000 gold lead for PSG. Yes, it's a little bit of a hiccup there with the Rumble being taken out, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. 3 items now for Maple. Sorelda's Grudge finished up, and you're building up towards a 3-item Aphelios as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, you're kind of saying, hey, look, it feels like R7 are running around the map to try and make plays happen. It feels kind of like the end of a Cooking Mama level, where you're like, everything is on fire, we're just running around trying to manage whatever we can. Yes, the level ticked over, and they've managed to survive, but now it gets more difficult.
Well, that's a Moonlight Vigil that doesn't really go anywhere. They're moving on to Junjin now. They're going to have to commit more ultimates here. Shockwave, sombreros onto nothing, and now they can turn and burn back on, because Seo's dead as well. You've no consistent DPS, R7. They thought they had found someone to kill off, but they end up losing almost everything in that fight, and that could just be the Baron straight up there.
Yeah, it 100% is. Immediately PSG are going to clear out this mid lane, start to push over towards the objective, and
there's just nothing you can do. Again, Mirror, these ultimates have just not been connecting whatsoever.
No, not at all. And again, like, you're committing everything onto Junja, who we mentioned earlier has gone full tank Maokai. It's not really the priority target. Like, I just feel like they're again clutching at straws, looking for anything and everything that could possibly come out and give them some kind of an advantage as the tanks try their very darndest to kill this dragon as quick as they can. But I mean, trying to deal with a Jace is hard enough with the poke, but now with a Baron, it's going to be insufferable.
Yeah, and I think, look, they were like, hey, look at Rumble bot lane. Let's try and make the pick. Let's 4v5 this. But Junja, terrible spot. Miru not being able to connect with the ultimate there as well. And they're just so overextended trying to make this pick happen, but you just don't have the damage. I mean, again, Banshee's Veil and the Orianna, she's not really turning out the damage that you need to. The Zaya was set behind early, despite a nice start. 0-3, like, where is your actual damage coming from to make these picks happen?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, is that once Seo goes down, there is no other one else. Yes, the Orianna is very strong, but she relies so heavily on her combo. And again, PSG, rinse, repeat. There's no need to go for anything else. You just have to keep putting out that ultimate. It'll be up in about a minute's time again, and then you do it again.
Yeah, and again, they're all over the place. Like, look, Odie's trying to clear out mid-wave against Maple, whereas you'd kind of want him to be with the team. He's now going to get collapsed on as PSG come over.
Yeah, PSG are going to look to maybe burn. Like, that's 1v1. Odie can't set up to this because he's only got a Radiant Virtue. He's pure HP. What's going to happen there? Like, I don't understand it. You're not really showing it. They're panicking, and it feels bad, but finally they look to try and make a play. But again, onto Junja, the tank. They're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it, but now the knockups into the charm. Sales already lost his Featherstorm. And can they try to burn this one? Finally, a good hook lands, but they've already got the stopwatch from Maple, so he can delay it. This is 4 versus 5. The Rumble isn't even here. The Rumble's not even looking to join. 4v5. And PSG burning them down. Wacko goes forward, and they're all being taken out. Yes, the shockwave comes in onto one, but it's just too little too late. And this is PSG putting a marker in the play-in.
Iyalah, yang main Bang Jaltot.
PSG Talon win the fight, and
Jaltot Nautilus.
They're going to take down or7 and deny them that opportunity at the two-piece international wins.
I mean, PSG were the favourites coming in. Game 1, R7 definitely showed a bit of life. Game 2, they just looked lost, floundering. PSG got themselves warmed up, got themselves back into the series, and really put down the herd. Really well done there for PSG. And they got themselves the expected result and expected how they got it as well.
Yeah, I mean, much cleaner game coming into this, right? Being able to play around the team fight, setting up well. I will say, still question marks around the bot lane.
Yes.
I mean, Wacko definitely having a bit of a rough day. Still, they're able to pick up the win. And again, he was very good when it came towards those later fights. And yeah, I mean, PSG just a significantly better team coming into game number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. They took their training wheels off. They were a little wobbly at the start there and kind of went like, oh, maybe I'm not comfortable with this. But then it was smooth sailing all the way down that hill. And I mean, for R7, it feels bad sometimes, but it's just kind of like, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Thankfully for them, they will have that lower bracket, but they definitely a couple of things to shore up in that regard.
Yeah, I think the fact that we had it so much kind of fixing going on coming through from Junja, he was able to get good control over that bot side. You then unlocked the Rakan to be able to play around the mid lane and Maple, and then Maple in this game looked absolutely fantastic. Yes. He was a beast on this Jace.
I mean, it feels like you either got to ban the Maokai or you got to ban the Jace. You got to ban one of the two because they are so comfortable with that composition. And I mean, Maple, I mean, he was just doing so much damage. Yeah, PSG Maple, we were very well aware of him back in the LPL. He has continued his lineage within the PCS and honestly keeps pushing forward within the play-ins. Again, looking towards that Swiss stage.
I mean, he's such a massive player coming into PSG, coming into the PCS, and then now rejoining PSG Talon. It's so sick to see him back.
Yeah, we do have our Oppo player of the series. It is the man we were just talking about. It is Maple. I mean, it couldn't have been anybody else. This guy with the Pop Blossoms, with the Jace, he was the enabler for his team.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of situations when they were very disjointed in game number 1, it was Maple who was stepping up on this pick on towards Sale to set them up in game number 1. When we got into those later fights as well, he was oftentimes getting again like this. I think he flashes in onto the backline of this play to make sure that he's getting on towards Sale, on towards Mirror. Yeah, you see.
Nunggu apaan gue nunggu jam 5.
Jam 5 main lagi, jam 5 main lagi.
Oh iya ada game lagi.
Jam lawan itu.
Jam 5 Goril Les Kumon. Les
Kumon kan lagi nih Bujang, ikut enggak Bujang? Aram.
Pengen berak lagi. Nih Qatar nih Kaju ini.
Indo nih Qatar Makianan nih.
Yes, Karma.
Di Drapen lagi, aduh.
Will you prove worthy?
Qatar agak susah sih di sini kalau bisa banyak PC.
Pengen berak coy.
Maju pas musuhnya sekarat ya. Kalau nggak ada yang sekarat nggak usah maju, udah tamat anjir.
Nggak
Kalau
bisa
player
gua main
Katarina anjir gitu.
Pakai apa ya? Ada Karpes apa Conqueror ya?
Apa Katarina? Conqueror lah.
Iya.
Conqueror.
Tapi ada Kenna juga, Cok.
Qatar aja sih nanti gampang pentakilnya tuh.
Iya, kalau musuh nggak ada CC-nya, kalau ada CC-nya susah.
Kalau musuhnya ada CC-nya tunggu sekarat dulu dibilangin. Sekarat bisa kok. Yang kalau musuhnya tinggal sekali mati tuh loh, nah tuh.
Masuk kalau diri gua masuk tapi nggak ada pemberitahuan kan? Ada 3 kan?
Nangis.
Ada 3. Cuma 2.
3. Welcome to World 2023.
Tuh, ada Pantheon,
Kayak in begin, triple kill.
Sekarang dia yang dapat ininya, dia dapat Israel dia.
Iya.
Kapsul.
Jadi gue pengen pakai kanan. Enak nih kanan mesti lembek semua ini. Kepelen ke tembok kan.
Ketiganya kapsul. Boleh. Nyayur bok. Kanomiku.
Laku
Gue cuma 2 triple kill sama play in begin gue.
Dapat hikmah.
Sama gue sama yang welcome itu. Karena gue nonton dari awal. Gue nggak tahu sama. Padahal tadi barengan kita nonton.
Kita nggak datang ya. Let's go. Apakah saatnya Karma Tank anjir? Nggak ada tank. Gue ya Karma Tank.
Ngapain bikin tem?
Nggak ada ngeteng.
Jangan sampai Qatar yang ngeteng nih. Gue bikin ini aja damage aja ya. Apa-apa. Damage apa-apa nih.
Bikin menang
aja.
Ngeliatnya ininya itemnya, Cok.
Ini factor aja. Nice Gor. Siapa tuh Gorsky pura-pura kena itu stun anjir gigi tuh.
Ayo aku tuh segini.
Opoy banget. Ya Allah.
Aku skill itu aja. Iya nih Karma Tank nih aku nih bikin.
Ya ilah bagi 1 coy, cashpot coy. Gila loh.
Lumayan lah.
Tuh kan dibilangin tutorial tunggu darah musuhnya sekarat berhasil kan. Nice.
Udah bener Asus 5 ya.
Asisku 1 lagi.
Kalian dapat apa sih?
Kena stun tuh.
Ya Allah kan.
Dapat kapsul World 2023.
Aku nggak ada.
Aku nggak dapet kapsul lah ya.
Aku nggak ada.
Aku juga nggak ada. Orang dalam memang ya.
Iya, orang dalam susah. Apa perlu di ini nih, di relock dulu nih? Relock lah dulu.
Bentar. Gor, pura-pura kena stun lagi Gor. Oh. Oh, dan pura-pura Gor. mampus.
Cu, nggak dapet cu. Katanya dapet.
Dajal ini.
Hoax itu, hoax.
Hoax parah parah.
Lex itu, Lex.
Hai.
Karena semua itu
kena tali asmara dia tuh. Nice. Ditusuk. Kalau udah aku exhaust aja. Tuh aja kebal aku tuh nahan W-nya sama Q-nya Pantheon nih.
Au. Mati deh gua.
Nice. Maju.
Berkawan.
Apa dia mukul apa ini? Nak stun ya? Nice. Darah. Selamat aku.
Darah nih belakang darah.
Oke. Ya, masih hidup aku.
Pantai pakai data.
Kenapa? Ya Allah.
Nggak ada rasa lu, Dek.
Aku juga tapi itu.
Anjir salah aku W dulu baru R anjir, kocak anjir, nggak ngehil anjir. Kocak aja.
Lama.
Dionanya Diona. Apa namanya? Ngeri. Salah.
Pepe.
Ngelak. Cuk, ngelak anjir, nggak bisa kabur kita deh. Maju. Gua
ngapa tidak panda? Ilah bodoh banget Gorsky. Bodat.
Tolol
banget.
Lu dibilang tolol, Gor.
Gua kalau main nonton satu, gua kalau nonton
itu Gorsky patah-patah ya.
apa?
Mampus lo gua hit lo, mampus lo gua gebuk teman sendiri lo. Ikan kepala.
Hanya langsung IE dong, bujang. Lo bikin essence river.
Digeser.
Geser diangkat.
Aduh. Jalan es.
Terasa pedas, terasa hangat. Kembali.
Darah. Iya digeser, iya disetun, kita makan. Udah Renata sih. Gak ada sepatunya dong, bujang, lu gak ada sepatu.
Ayo sepatu tuh.
Tanamanmu pasang, Bor.
Ya Allah, mampus itu. Gua nge-kill sih dia. Mundur aja.
Kill temen sendiri aja. The real impostor ya.
Mati kau. Aduh, itu Renata. Mati kau.
Ngapain?
Lucu.
Itu tuh meninggal. Kuat. Penta.
Kali
anjay. Kayaknya nggak kelihatan yang kecil sekali.
Kru. Kok jeru.
Dia satu orang Diana dong.
Link mati lah dia.
Mati dia.
Ya Allah.
Ngapain lu mukulin Gorsky? Siapa tuh? Bujang peler udah.
Apa? Gua mukulin itu
aku
loh.
udah nebein anjir. Aku udah nebein anjir, lu mundur aja tuh mati, Cuk.
Bujang peler.
Iya, Cuk, tuh mundur aja. Mati
Bujang peler.
Maju. Udah nebe keras gila aja.
Bujang peler.
Cara tuh. Ini nih.
Pepe belampu.
Maju, aku nebein. Maju, aku nebein.
Awas sakit.
Mau dipukul.
Ah, lama nih si Dajjal ini.
Oh, nice. Go. Ngeri.
Tuh kill. Shut down.
Mau dipukul lagi sama bujang aja kenapa Renata.
Ini kayaknya di sini dah. Udah mati semua ya?
Tai lu kaget gue.
Harga gua bikin Sharilda kah?
Ya. Apa dead gini ya, dead dance saya. Dead dance saya.
Makin cepat anjir tuh putarannya tuh.
Bisa sudah kan? Daripada di belakang. Ini ekonomi ke di belakang.
Ini kalau masih di belakang susah banget gue maju anjir.
Waduh.
Makan udah sap. Isap, Pak.
Isep dia. Suck my dick.
Oh, awas balik cepet.
Allah.
Gak beli sepatu anjir.
Iya.
Sepatunya mana anjir?
Itu kebiasaan bujang.
Berapa nama sepatu? Berapa nama kamu?
Ini ya batangannya. Biar
Hacker nih daripada
300 doang itu loh. Beli.
Pacar beli sepatu jang.
Iya, kan gua bukan faker, jadi gua nggak beli sepatu.
Oh, aku ya bukan faker beli sepatu. Ayo lu.
Ini banyak susah maju. Gue dari bikin Renata mulu.
Alah,
Gue kayaknya Diana yang bisa maju sih. Baru gua. Awal aja anjir. Abis sama awal gua.
pernah hit baru di
Cooldown cuk. Cooldown nggak 100 detik hanya. Ya nggak 100%. Ini dari tadi tak spam terus nih skill itu. Kalau bukan aku yang main karma, skillnya nggak bakal dikeluarin ya. Kalau lu lihat karma yang kayak gitu aja. Ini masih jauh semua.
lima di sini misalnya dragon.
Alamak, kenal lagi gue nih. Anjing.
Kabur lah, anjir.
Waduh, nggak bisa mundur ya.
Aslinya katanya udah begitu. Jalannya nggak jauhnya Diana.
Aku mati.
Aku tinggal siapa
nih gue nih.
Rama kemana? Nggak ngomong Rama.
Aku ke babi.
Pakai dulu.
Nggak ngomong.
Terus dia mana?
Katanya nih. Sebenarnya sakit yang kayak itu.
Panik lu.
Oh tuh.
Allah.
Aku kena lagi aja. Terlalu lama lagi sebenarnya.
Ya Allah, itu kill.
Wah.
Deny damage-nya najis banget depan Pantheon anjir. Mati tuh kalau nggak tuh.
Kita gajinya kurang.
Mati sakit banget anjir.
Gue tidak maju digeser bola sama Renata. Kalau nggak Renata Pantheon. Ini kan Kiana tadi.
Iya.
Awak lu binatang.
Apa lagi? Ada apa lagi tuh?
Gitu dong Gor, bikin gue ketawa dong. Ayo nih gue di belakang nih.
Oke. Tolong, Cok.
Ya Allah, ini Pak Pantheon apa? Alamak.
Pep.
Bisa nih goli bisa. Ayo Gor, combo Gor.
Combo apa nih?
Oh, pantai lah malah FK lah. Oh, bujang kita mau.
Wah, mau gimana Ram tuh? Combo. Clear.
Nonton lagi.
Jam 5 Mas, apa yang bertonton?
Masih lama, Mas.
Oh, jam 5.
Lagi.
Jam berapa sih? Jam 4.
Berarti Dimas jam 6 ya? Jangan Mas lebih cepat.
Gue last nih.
Indeed, why choice?
Indeed, a wise choice.
Bikin lethality.
Mau pakai Indeed, Bro?
Indeed lah, pakai tanya. Udah why choice banget ini. Terus gue bawanya ini.
Apa nih? Request lah Ram, gue pakai apa Ram yang dari situ Ram? Request.
Boleh tality juga, nggak apa-apa.
Gue pakai apa nih Ram?
Sako.
Lu lihat kali itu.
Ya, lethality.
Udah gua yang dah. Kok kitanya lah.
Lethality juga nggak apa-apa.
Jungler kan masih AP kan?
Iyalah.
Wah, ada lah. Itu AP.
Lethality Jin pakai Sojin. Jin Sojin.
Ini sama Jinx tuh banjir. Jinx.
Karner tuh.
Bedanya kan penyebutannya.
Hampir sama Jinx karena dia ada X-nya.
Ya kalau Jinx ya Jinx. Kalau Jin ya Jin. Kalau anjing ya anjing. Kalau kontol sorry.
Berarti Hansu Jing. Ya Jing.
Iya. Kan Atsu soalnya.
Ya Jing ya. Jadi Jing apa Jin nih?
Kalau Gorsky apa Gorsky?
Lord deh mah udah nggak bisa lagi sebut. Udah Lord dia.
Kalau Gorsky sesepuh ya.
Udah sepuh Lord dia.
Kalau bujang apa tuh bujang tuh? Asu kah? Itu yang ngendalin Asu siapa itu?
Bujang ler.
Di mukanya tuh.
Duit sekarang.
Bujangnya AP kan juga bujang.
Dogi ya. Itu di kepalanya Nasus Dogi ya. Tengok ya tuh, Dogi.
Kalau alot-alot
Penat recall-nya anjir.
Wah, anjing. Minta digebuk Sena ini. Gua incer Sena bodo amat.
Aduh, tolong kena. Musuhnya jago-jago nih.
Ah, kena tuh.
Satu, Cok. Tersisa satu, Cok. Aduh.
Kena angkopan.
The badut. No flash si ini di capung di Scorpion.
Pepe di angin-angin ngentot.
Yang gelebung.
Gelep-gelepin banget.
Mati lu Bambi.
Oh, nice. Ambilnya dar.
Sabar.
Ya Allah, ini mas kali semua ini. Waduh, di shield lagi.
Dapat let's go. Gitu sore.
What the hell?
Tuh, kena leh.
Mati lu. Anjir, nggak mati dong. Kalau udah punya Liandri mati sih.
Iya, kebakar-bakar. Nah, mati, mampus. Tuh minum. Mati aku, Cuk.
Tidak dapat gua.
Kalian udah penuh kah? Udah penuh kah?
Udah.
Oke.
Wow. Anjir gua di geret lu.
Ya Allah. Nah, Pepe lah.
Waduh, itu ada yang gitu. Ada yang ulti Jana. Anjir.
Oh, why choice?
Wah. Tolong. Ih, gak kena anjir, cacat anjir. Ih, masih hidup aku. Tuh mau nge-heal.
Berani bujang.
Nice goal.
Tarik.
Anjing, gua ditarik coy.
Gorsky, nice.
Hui, wah, bing, bala bing.
Ulti nih. Shoot. Tuan.
Pemain requestnya tergantung orang.
Lon.
Ini nih.
Nice. Rada.
Yo am lah.
Itu juga. Nice.
Badut.
Ini Sena mau berapa stack anjir bangsat.
Oh mati kok. Mati.
Ayah.
Finals sih.
Tangan satu itu sama dibunuhnya.
Anjing kena dong.
Abra. Ini ada orang.
Kontol nggak gerak kayaknya.
Iya, dia mau narik gua kah? Tarik kan.
Shung, duar nggak kena anjir. Keras kali anjir. Di flashin aku cuk. Mati deh. Ih masih hidup anjir. Iya. Ini gila cuk, sakit kali cuk.
Harus bikin server fang anjir anti shield. Morgana shield, Jana shield, Sena shield, Skarner shield.
Tarik anjing gue tarik. Gue yang ditarik ibab.
Ada apa ya?
Apa sih turret anjing?
Aduh. Nice. Aduh.
Slow banget lah.
Aduh, kena lagi.
Oh, nice choice.
Kenapa sih gue diem doang? Diem anjing, bengong anjing. Geberan.
Dapat ya ini.
Anjing jauh banget jaraknya bangsat sana.
Pakai belum beli rapid fire lagi, belum jadi. Nah, ulti. Kena lu ya.
Don't worry, you can learn so much from failure.
Ada mobil dulu yang dihajar ya, tolong.
Ya.
Apa?
Ada
Tuh aku ngowe.
Biar trade-nya kagak dihancurin.
Tolong. Nice block. Angin puting beliungnya gini aja, slow motion nih.
Beliung.
Epe.
Anjing jauh banget cuy. What the fuck?
Waduh, nggak kena.
Indeed, wise choice.
Tentu.
Itu lah. Saya main 12-2 dong.
Gue sampai gak sempet R, gak bisa ngapa-ngapain.
Di situ.
Ya Allah, itu senanya anjing, orang gila anjing senanya cuy. Lihat dari sini nembak gua di sini cuy.
Teknya udah berapa itu? 91. Tekernya no.
Yang ada nggak bisa pakai portal sih ya.
Duar, macur. Ada kubur.
Anjas, baduh.
Slotnya lama Jin anjir. Aman di reloadnya doang.
Buat.
Jemut.
Masuk.
Nyusahin skannernya anjing.
Jauh banget Sena bangsat.
Tolong. Wah, anjir tuh kena ini terus apanya.
Lihat dari sana aja nembaknya.
Anjay, ngeri Rama sepuh ya. Kill Egor.
Gua belum patuh sih mas. Kuduna lelet banget anjing.
Wah nggak kena. Kayak Lux anjir ulti itu.
1 detik jadi 6 detik kan main 1 detik.
Itu kena tuh.
Mampus lu miss lu. Anjing.
Anjir.
Gua slow lu.
Belbat ya gila itu. Kena berapa kali.
Wah, mati anjir. Sniper situ nih. Terpesona Gorsky.
Oh, gua slow sekarang.
Tuh kena nih.
Kau.
Nice, menang nih, maju.
Bocor anjing.
Ya Allah, lihat sana coy. Jauh banget anjing jaraknya. Oh,
Waduh.
mat.
Ke 100 gila.
Nice Gor, wave Gor.
Backdoor Gor.
Kita siapa paling cepet?
Anti heal ada yang bikin anti heal sih? Nggak ada anjir, gila.
Waduh. Anjir one shot anjir. Ngeri. Ya kayak sana.
Tanknya udah gue tadi belakang itu.
Kena dulu please ini. Lihat dari anjing jauh banget coy nembaknya. Gila. Dari situ loh.
Gila.
Jauh banget.
Senanya coy bener dengan otak anjing.
Jauh.
Kena terus.
Recall bang darahnya. Bang gimana caranya recall main arah? Bener. Gila-gilanya.
Nah, itu nggak ngot jauh banget gila itu.
Jauh kali.
Biasanya paling jauh sana doang.
Gor. Aduh jauh, ngapain lu sana Gor? Oke, mati tuh Senaya tadi tuh.
Udah bikin urgent fokus anjing, gue kelihatan ngentot.
Ngapain tuh jinnya? Nggak jelas jinnya. Kazuya nggak jelas anjir. Ngapain anjir?
Pengen ngikutin jejak Gorsky.
Saku anjir, Saku bisa ngekin tuh jin Wiki ya, ngapain ya? Slot nggak bang?
Ya Allah jauh banget anjing, apa tuh? Yuk.
Tembak.
Anjing gua mau.
Wah.
Mati lu anjing. Ini ngibrit bukan apa ya. Alamak.
Gian minion itu.
Dia ditarik.
Coba lu bayang kayak gitu.
Gian minion ya.
Si Rama juga gua pakai saat.
Kata kan mau pakai jago badut lu.
Enggak, gua memang jago.
Dia memang jago, tapi udah memang pakai jago.
Normalan lah.
Gua mau beli makan dulu lapar.
Nah, pas nih.
Oke.
Kan makanan gua nonton anime Gor. Gua ke atas dulu AFK.
Udah dulu ya. Thank you.
Nah, pada udahan.
Udah.
Tadi ada yang mau main tuh rame. Normalan.
Jam 5 udah mau mulai, Mas.
Masih lama ya, setengah jam lebih.
Udah mulai, Tok.
Udah mulai.
Masa anjing hilang hadiah gue babi.
Udah
Belum dapat.
udah menit 14.
LLL. Go AFK
As I was saying,
bentar.
Loud are doing so well at accommodating that as well, because Rabo's just kind of said, all right, cool, well, I'm not the carry, all I have to do is survive, Morty, straight away. I'm not going to be in team fights. We're not looking to team fight right now, so I'm not worried about having that big gore drinker for those big fights.
Yeah, it's just absolutely absurd. And again, what do you try and respond with his GAM? Like, we've had Levi try and get into different positions, but top lane fell apart. Robo's been playing relatively safe. They hasn't really tried to get into mid lane, which I thought maybe was an option, but realistically, Seos has kind of been beaten to the punch in that position, and he's been kicked out of his bot side. So trying to find angles of attack into mid lane just isn't really happening right now.
No, it is not. The one thing I will say that's going in GAM's favor for now is that it's a very low attack range in terms of actually sieging down a turret. So taking the turret is actually quite difficult for the side of Loud. It will take multiple kills for them to be able to do it, but I mean, this is just a really smart little bit of play. It's like, if I land the W, we go in. Cool.
I mean, immediately the damage comes down, and again, this is the strength of this new build. You get so much lethality early, you get so much damage early, and the Loud fans very happy to see that one come through.
They're looking strong, they're looking confident right now, and they're looking like a team who's ready to kind of put the pressure down.
They're a team that looks like they want that rematch against PSG Talon. Like, this is a team that got knocked out against them in MSI. I mean, even Croc has been playing under the name Son of Junja in Portuguese over in CB LOL. Like, PSG Talon have been living in these guys' heads. So for this is we want our revenge. We want to go up against PSG Talon and knock them out of Worlds and take that spot in the
Have a bit of to go for it, of course. Double elimination, this is the winner's side, so win this, you get yourself an opportunity to get yourself towards that final match, the qualification match, of course, and of course we see it from the other side as well tomorrow, but
lagi
first
nonton
group is definitely starting to heat up just a little bit. And look for GAM.
Menit 16.
Expectations for the VTX, they were kind of the second tier of teams. They were always kind of touted as this team that we would always, this region, that would always be able to kind of bounce back. Yes, it was a very unfortunate time where they couldn't really go to internationals, but we always kind of said that they would be able to do it. Right now, they are very firmly on the back foot, nearly 3,500 gold down.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been the aggression that we always talk about from Vietnam. It's just been unfortunate that, I mean, Seos and Root got a good control of that bot lane early. Despite the fact Kiaya was able to get control over top side, that was kind of turned around by Croc. So I think GAM want to try and find these big team fights.
Levi dari Attack on Titan.
Dari zaman dulu anjing masih main aja.
Combo off with Levi, Kiaya, and Cassie. That's kind of their big way back into this, but it needs to land on the key members.
And the thing is, though, is that Kiaya is kind of moving down,
main,
cheating down, when it means he left that top lane
kena
pretty much for free now. Khaled having to lose his flash because he's just not in a position to get caught like that. And little by little, bit by bit, Loud are just wrestling back control. They're not letting the side of GAM have a foothold.
Yeah, and you talk about, look, in a team fight, yes, Loud are very low range because you want to try and get a lot of the ultimates off, but you got good poke that can come through from Tin Owns, the W from Root as well. Like, there's a lot of damage that can come through quite quickly here, so you do have to be very, very careful. As now Riftshroud in mid lane, sets up for the push, sets up for the control again, going in Loud's favor on that bot side jungle, and they rotate back towards the dragon. And I mean, you're in complete item down for Slater. You can't compete in these team fights if you can't get the wombo off.
And Rabo does exactly what Rabo needs to do. I'm on weak side. It's fine. We're going to back away. We get a tower, we get a dragon. There's nothing to do really outside of just walk away. If they get the tower, sure, it was an equal trade in their sense for the towers, but now you are on Ocean Soul Point at 18 minutes. That is a 23 Ocean Soul fight that you have to go for as GAM. If you let this Renekton Viego combination get themselves an Ocean Soul, they're never dying.
And in my professional opinion, Oshin, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's an awful place to be.
Is that the technical term, is it? Yeah. The legal term.
It's a bit of a whoopsie.
Big oof, if you do want to say it. Like.
But it's also like, you got Root now, so basically the way this build works is you now go up towards an Asher's Tooth, so you end up in being able to get that AP damage into your build as well, a lot of that attack speed, and you're just in such a good spot. Like, this is so incredibly hard to try and operate off of now.
Pick up-nya per pertandingan jadi nembak tebal.
Yes, this build kind of does play off of lethality.
Pick up-nya kayak gitu anjing.
I mean, it's not even 20 minutes into the game. He's 2.5, 3 kills. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. An immediate flash has to do by Kiaya, but he gets caught out anyway, and they go straight in with the assassination. Kiaya trying to save the tower if he can, but not really a lot else going for them, and Loud looking good right now, really starting to put down a serious performance.
I mean, oh no, Slater, no.
He's gonna lose his cleanse, won't lose anything else, but I mean, that's already just walking to the lane in arguably the safest position to go for. He wasn't cheating, he went the long way around and he still lost something.
Look, the only place that's safe for Gam is their own base, and Robo's just ignoring them.
They used the TP on the tower.
Panik.
Ultinya kemana?
Panik.
The entire top side belongs to them. Turret gone, jungle gone.
Nontonnya di Twitch aja dah,
Baron is up in 10 seconds.
kagak
Honestly, that might be gone. But this is super nice, right? Again, Robo is like, hey, I've got this Maw. I can just ignore the damage from Kiaya. Kiaya is forced to flash, but they know that Root's in a position to just follow up.
ADC-nya kaya banget.
Compounding it.
And you know what the terrifying thing is? This is the part of the game that Loud are better at. The post 20 minute
Fatty is feeling the pressure as well. Double knockup comes in on top of it. They get the tangled barbs down. Levi forced to flash away. That's a TP coming in from the Rumble just to run away because he realizes he has no business being here. You have no reason to ever take these fights, and Loud are looking to put a serious marker down. They are coming for PSG.
Yeah, damn Gam, you do not want to be gonna be able to walk away from that one, but he said it. Baron spawns, Loud is saying, hey,
namanya juga Bang
that looks nice
Jalto.
and pretty, so let's go and take it.
What if we took all the buffs? What if we get the earliest soul we could possibly think of and then take a Baron off, basically off spawn?
Yeah, basically Loud say, can we have it? And Gam just have to say yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing they can do to get out of way from their base. Like, that mid lane turret is holding on with a struggle, because the second you step up, you're going to have so many different flank opportunities that come in behind them. And here again, like, Gam are all kind of set up to go, hey, we can try and keep this safe. But Kati separates for a second. Croc takes his chance. Pallet uses the hook thinking there might be a flash over the wall and trying to preempt it, but ends up meaning that he doesn't have his hook up and available. And then again, Loud collapsing quicker, in a better position. Slater not really there because he's trying to clear a mid-wave, and Loud are able to follow up nice and easy.
And this has just started from the get-go. This is Loud turned around and said, bot lane is our priority as they come out with the Red Bull power play, but bot lane is their priority. Root is their carry, and this guy is doing so well with giving that responsibility.
I mean, this game is sheer bot lane. The level 1 and level 2 going as wrong as it did for Slater and Pallet. Gave the freeze. Rock was in a position to just continue letting Root and Sales have that freeze. Root getting 2 solo kills in the bot lane as well. Like, it has not been a good look coming through for the Gam bot lane.
Now you have 30 seconds for Gam to kind of fight against this Ocean Soul. Now, I will say it's one of the souls that people tend to kind of go, look, we don't have to fight it, but I mean, you gotta go for something here. Like, you're looking at a 3-item Kaisa here for Root. He has just been insane right now. 3-0 and 5. Just a monster in his own right. Level 14, like, he's the same level as Kiaya in the top side. He's the same level as a solo laner.
Yeah, I mean, the kills and assists will do that for you. And Loud, they kind of know that they're in a great position. Siege up here on bot side, they have a lot of opportunities to try and escape away. Like, Sales, very difficult to lock down. Croc, because the ultimate, kind of difficult to lock down. So they're just going to let Tin Owns push in mid. And I thought he was going to look for the mid turret, but looks like they want to try and take a fight as Gam are a bit far away from safety.
Yeah, Gam will not have many places to run if they do get caught, and you can see there, recognizing that and just kind of throws a hook away. I mean, you got to go for something. TP back into the fight is going to be Robo onto the side. He's looking for a master flank. They do get a hook on, but it's only onto Seos, so the Rakan's going to be able to walk away. Doesn't even use any of his cooldowns. They're looking for something. They're waiting for something, but that something is just not going to happen. And now they're getting turned on because they realize they've overstepped. Robo's on a flank, and they can start to pinch in. The equalizer comes down to try and stop anyone from moving in, but Robo just gets himself into the stopwatch. The Pot Blossom and Tin Owns signs the death warrant here with the ultimate. Loud get everything. Gam have nothing, and this
this game is all but over. Tinoz goes kaboom and shuts out Gam in this one. The push on bot side is going to be the death knell coming through as
6-0 anjir
just being a nuisance, just being annoying as they will continue to push.
Continue with the push, they'll get it on all lanes. They might not end the game just yet, but they still got Baron for 10 seconds. They're going to do some serious damage right now. They'll get themselves at least 2 inhibitors, and honestly, they can go back, reset, spend all the gold, put your T's down, dot your I's. You've got all the time in the world, and you have all the advantages as well.
Baron.
Like, there's just nothing left for you here, Gam. I'm sorry for you, but when the early game goes this disastrously in bot lane, when Croc's able to correct the lane and top side, there is zero that can be done. And your entire jungle will go with it as well. It's only a matter of time until Loud coordinate themselves on top side, but this was brilliant. Like, Robo ended up in a position where he's able to get the flank. He's corralling Gam into a perfect position. Levi overextends, trying to see if he can get a steal, but isn't in a position. Robo over the wall into Panic, but watch Tinoz. Nobody knows. And Tinoz goes in and sets up beautifully.
Nekonya tuh dia ulti dulu baru flash. Itu nggak ada ward lagi.
Part of our, Mercedes-Benz featured matchup is that he just goes in going, I have a stopwatch. It doesn't matter if they all try and turn and burn on me because I'm going to be able to delay. And that's exactly, it was the perfect bait. And it's exactly what happened. But, I mean, yeah, look. Root's having an absolutely exceptional game, and even has a stopwatch as well to keep him from dying, should he even ever get caught.
Yeah, I mean, this is Root having a moment for himself on the world stage. Looks absolutely spectacular and kind of showing what a lot of people were unsure of was like, how can Loud have these strong early games? Like, can they do it on an international stage? And this is a resounding voice.
Oh, itu pun itu karena Digen tuh
asisnya. This is absolutely incredible to see.
Yeah, loud crowd. And that's the thing as well. We always come in. Oh, to say that, we see Seos might be getting caught out here. They're looking for a hex flash over the wall from the Nautilus, but gonna have to hold there for a second or two. Everyone just kind of walks away. Didn't have the timing on that, unfortunately. But that's the thing. Like, we look domestically. We look at how Loud have really come out and kind of dominated Brazil. It does feel like it kind of gets a little bit of a, you kind of a bit of an echo chamber. You're not quite sure how they stack up, but this particular display of dominance is showing us just how good they are. It just feels like right now we are coming at this team from such an incredible point of power. And they are feeling good.
Red's feel a lot better as they're going to go under here.
He's going to go in, but they've actually been able to catch out Croc, and he's not gone down just yet. Now he has. Robo does have a GA, but he wouldn't like to use it just yet. As Maul gets used, and there's going to be an equalizer to try and stop them all. They get the knock up here, double down. The Feathers come in, and Root picks up a kill. Oh, comes out, Root shoots himself right into the backside. Triple out for the Kaiser, looking for a little bit more as well. Not quite able to get the last few auto attacks there onto the Zaya, but will turn and burn for the quadra kill. And they
lumayan. Dapat bok, ada quadra kill, dapat bok.
Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get it on day one. He's got a couple more seconds. They're looking for it. They got the inhibitors down. They got the Nexus turrets as well. Finally, here they go. There's Slater with the stopwatch. Finally, they go in on the turret. And it's going to be
Lol Sport ini kan bukan
lolisport.com
di web what ya
lagi gue belum login lagi belum login
Your pick'ems are locked and loaded, but my God, Loud are just getting started. What an incredible display of dominance from the CBLOL #1
YouTube
seed.
bisa, tapi lu masih connected dulu YouTube lu Mario.
Just exceptional. That was just exceptional from minute one. They never faltered. They never gave Gam an opportunity. And I mean, if I'm Gam, like, I mean, what were you gonna do? There was no opportunity.
This is like the best representative we've had from CBLOL.
Gue nonton dari tadi anjir belum login ternyata.
Wins for this team, the first ever in CBLOL history. You got Robo, who's now matching BRTT for most titles ever. This is a team that is decorated to the nines.
Kenapa?
Now you come out as well.
Drops.
Kenapa?
Udah keluar belum?
Belum. Di sini aku tulisannya masih. Bentar.
Ini di mananya nontonnya, Gor? Ya aku udah ke website ya nih.
lolesport.com. Habis itu Mas ke schedule.
Oh, bentar nih ganti bahasa dulu. Bahasanya Indo.
Ya udah jadwal, ya Allah.
Kan ngebug nanti schedule terus.
Ini mah enggak ngebug.
Schedule terus.
Ya udah itu nonton. Ada nama LL.
Iya.
Drop.
Satu drop. Ini apaan satu drop?
Ya itu dia.
Yang paling atas itu kok LL gua tuh mah enggak.
Versus Gam. LL lawan
Di
Gam.
scroll gitu nih ke bawah.
Mas?
LL.
Hah?
Kayak gimana sih lambangnya LL tuh, Gor?
Hijau segitiga.
Hijau segitiga.
Mas kalau baca schedule pun Mas pasti langsung ngeliatnya ke situ, Mas.
Iya, tapi ini banyak nih.
Yang laut
versus Gam Esport. Mas kan ada tulisan live tuh game 1.
Enggak, lu salah ngomong, Gor. Jangan gambar segitiga. Illuminati bilang. Baru connect dia.
Nih. Iya, ada tahu tapi yang mananya enggak ada tulisan live-nya anjir. Coba lu lihat.
Dipencet aja,
Dipencet aja, Mas.
Nih.
Iya, dipencet. Nah.
Oh bener yang ini tadi aku salah ya, ngeklik ada 3 atau 4 anjir yang ini salah ngangklik. Oh bukan yang ini, bukan yang ini.
Nah
terus
udah cuma ditonton dong waktu itu, Mas.
Terus gininya
tinggal
Mas?
Rewardnya
di reward
nggak ada.
Ya udah kelar lah, udah habis baru login.
Habis. Mas nontonnya pas udah kelar gamenya habis bagaimana?
Udah kelar. Gitu lah.
Ayo main dah yuk.
Enggak, tanggung Mas. Bentar ini kelar aja baru main lagi.
Emang ini main lagi?
Main kan BO3.
Oh masih live yang sama kan?
Iyalah Mas.
Oh. Ini aku udah gini.
Ambilnya Twitch aja Mas biar cepet.
Main aram aja bentar.
Gimana cara ngambilnya?
Ngambil apanya?
Ngambil Twitch-nya.
Itu Mas turun ke bawah option pilihan. Yang tulisan
level lagi.
Yang English ganti ke Twitch.
Mana.
Kalau ke bawah scroll ke bawah. Nggak usah jauh-jauh scrollnya. Terus atas dikit tuh ada option kanan.
Option.
Nah, yang English ganti.
Nih.
Nah, Twitch. Nah. Itu dia low latency. Habis itu gambar lebih bagus.
Your account is now connected. Enjoy the show.
Beda momen kah?
Masih ini tanggung satu pertandingan lagi.
He was very volatile before this as well, so he found an angle. That W flash was perfect to be able to get that
Ini
kill
bisa ya,
too.
kalau langsung dibikin kayak gituan tuh.
It happened twice.
Pakai LOL Studio itu.
Ini kan pickupnya udah kan 50 poin gini udah kan.
Could have flashed a little earlier, but he didn't expect the damage.
He was playing with his hands and 1 foot tied behind his back.
Maksudnya cepat gitu dia.
That's how he was playing the game.
I also think it just comes down to the rune optimization. You can easily see how many autos come through with the.
That's pretty impressive.
You're going to continue?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay, well, you continue in that. But here, Blades, getting those 3 auto attacks in really quickly, while we're so used to see lethal
harus ganti bahasa.
for Kaisers instead. Also, just completely surprised later with the.
One thing that we all focused on pretty heavily is the fact that he did this within the lane, but then he transitioned that mid lane.
Absolutely.
During one of the replays of that kill that he ended up having, he went straight through mid, found an ulti, killed Orianna. I was like, okay, I guess he's just transitioning this and taking over the map.
I also really like the lethality build this game. Goldberg, you highlighted it like 10-12 minutes in. Like, look at the team.
Rewardnya nggak bisa dibuka kan?
There's no front line. There's nothing to really worry about. And look, 11-0.
Ini kalau
46%.
Apa lihat di Twitch, kita harus login Twitch juga.
46%. And the pentakill right at the end as well in our second series of Worlds 23.
No, that's crazy, and that's a standout performance that really speaks to itself.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, there's instances where you have to kill a tank. This was not one of them. This was one of them where you could just take over. Even getting a pentakill at the end, which I think was very deserved for him too. Amazing from
biasanya emang loading, biasanya nunggu kelar dulu. Ada yang cepat, ada yang
replay package to
dalam
round out this game before we look ahead.
Teman penta doang dapet ini.
The game was over well before this, and it was unlosable was the phrase that I was
trying to sit in here and make some calls out for what I think should be done in the game.
Tinggal tidur tetap dapat kan ya?
Lau was just so ahead that they could skip so many of the steps. Even going for this tier 2 could have been
Yang
dangerous.
penting gak gua iniin.
The Oriana continuing to split push.
Disetel aja, mas aku juga biasanya kayak gitu sambil main terus ini aku resolusinya paling kecil biar nggak nge-lag. Minimasi ya
They can only fight to get back into it, and we're playing against the laners of Loud who's already so far ahead. There's nothing you can do to get back into it. Loud had problems with macro and CP low when they were playing playoffs. This was not one of the game where it happened.
Also,
komputer mas langsung ngebuka
Call
e-sport sendiri.
After 20 minutes, they're a team that didn't necessarily have this dominant of a laning phase.
I would be surprised normally if I saw a good early game from Loud, and this one they came straight out the game.
Kayaknya penanikan anjir.
Well, Root was up 4-5k. The rest of the team was pretty much even. But just the way they play laning phase, the way the transition, it was beautiful to see. I want to move on from game 1. We've only got a couple minutes left. Gam has selected. Oh, we only have 30 seconds. Okay, so Raz, I apologize. We'll get back to you at the end of the next one. As we head towards game 2, let's enjoy the view of our play-ins host City Soul.
Tidak, aku milih Gam loh.
You will come in docking you.
Anyways, goodbye. We'll see you on the next.
Dua kan gamenya milihnya kan?
Iya, aku milih apa SG Talon sama Gam. Emang kalau salah satu yang menang dapat apa?
Bukan salah satu itu lu milih tim itu, tim yang masuk ke
play-in-nya.
Ke play-in-nya
ke turnamen besar.
Kalau lu lihat kalau lu klik standing, nah itu kan dia ada itu cuma diambil 2 tim doang.
Iya.
Kalau lu pilih Gam sama Talon, lu Gam sama apa? Encu. Lu pilih Gam sama apa?
Talon, PSG Talon.
Nah, harusnya itu beda bracket kalau bisa. Karena itu kan Talon sama Gam kan satu bracket.
Aku tahu, Cok.
Lebih bagus 2 bracket yang beda, itu kan ada bracket beda.
Mana gue tahu.
Mana gue tahu, Cuk.
Bringing in a new roommate to save money, is that the plan?
Say hi to Glenn from work.
Yeah, I think I have a much better plan. We switched to my plan from Verizon.
That is a good plan. Glenn.
Get my plan starting at just $25 when you bring your own phones. Plus, save when you add perks like the Disney Bundle. It's your Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Soalnya keren banget. Mercedes nggak mau kalah, Muntun nama itu ya Ducati.
누가 내 이름이 불었니 그처럼 더운 시선들이 spotlight points at me 밀고 당기고 개미 좋네 Listen to my voice 여자들이 게임이 아니라 이치를 소중할 줄 모르니 애초에 내가 과연 드림없다 함께 하늘에 기억 속에서 너 때문에 눈물이 흐른대 너 진짜 미련했는데 완전히 달라진 나를 봐라 You will regret you
Kok tiba-tiba gue dapet skin anjing?
Anjay, gede banget. Your reward is currently being fulfilled. Take back soon. Mas, ya.
Oh, gue tiba-tiba dapet skin ya? Perasaan gak ada skin kilas gue.
Anjay.
Tuh dapet apaan tuh? Menang apa tuh? Gak jelas ya.
Impressive as all hell. Like, very, very cool to see what the CB Law is bringing to the world stage right now. Like, pentakill, game one, day one. Not often we get to see that.
Multiple solo kills for the AD carry. Like, Root was just the catalyst of everything, and he did not disappoint. And I really do feel like that is a problem now for Gam in the second game.
Yeah, I mean, what is like, I guess we either got to pick away the Kai'Sa this time, or do we ban the Kai'Sa? Like, is it actually that strong?
Yeah.
But look, it kind of also came back to, like, don't mess up your level 1. Like,
Yes.
the level 1, level 2 went so disastrous for them, they just couldn't recover, and that's kind of what we got to see Root pop off.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that was the big thing as well. So that level 1, level 2, where they almost got the damage there onto Root, and in fairness, they were so close on the side of Gam to make it work for themselves, but then it goes the opposite way. They lose all their summoners, they don't gain the kill for it, and it just all kind of snowballed from there. We are going to have a switcheroo on the sides. It is going to be Gam on the blue with Loud on the red, and we're going to start to see a couple of these things now. And it looks like Tinones just does not want to deal with the Tristana at all. He wants to get rid of that 100% of the time.
Yeah, I'm surprised to still see them putting that much priority onto getting that away. Definitely something that's fallen off as of late, but we'll have to see exactly what the game plan is. Jack's going to be taken away from Kia as well, which I still think is a good call. And honestly, we're seeing very, very similar stuff to what we saw in the last game. It hasn't been too different or too dissimilar from game number 1, apart from the side selection. All right.
Let's see what they want to go for right now. The Olaf, obviously, can be a bit of one. Don't have Adam right now, but we'll see him later on in the tournament, especially with maybe may have a little bit more of that one there. But the Nico being taken away by Tanones again. He wasn't the highlight of everything, but he definitely was a facilitator in the whole thing. The Nico just feels like it's still super strong.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think, like, as we said, control mages kind of tend to be the ones on top in the mid lane at the moment. So Nico, your Orianas, I think Azir still very, very popular. Sindra as well, don't forget, Tinones, I'm a massive fan of that pick, even represented him in one of the old CB Law videos as well. Like, this is a guy that loves that pick, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it brought out over the course of Led's tenure here at the World Championship.
We'll see. For now, looks like it's going to be a little bit of a swap up in that top side. Kiaya taking himself the Renekton. I still think the Renekton is such an exceptionally powerful pick. It can be so easily blind pick it because we've seen it. It's just, again, even when you pick the Rumble and stuff into it, it still can scale. It can still become that mid-game monster, and there's not a lot of great answers to it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what the biggest problem is. Like, we've seen things from, like, BB and stuff like that, like bringing out the Swain and those kind of things to try and have an answer into it, but I don't think we'll see Robo go towards something like that. Could be potentially an Aatrox or something along those lines that he wants to go towards. We'll have to see exactly what the game plan is. Xayah going to be the first one coming through for Root, so not going to go back towards the Kai'Sa. And do we get the Orianna pick? Are we just going to swap essentially what these first 3 picks are?
Quite possibly right now. I do feel like Loud could go for the Orianna themselves. They could also pick up the Rakan, did exceptionally well in that last game for Seos. He was really proactive on it, and it does feel like it is the premier support, at least in my eyes, in the first few games we've seen so far this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to call it. It looks like it'll be the Rakan, because I felt like the game was so skewed by Loud in the early stages. It became very hard to kind of see much from either team. So when you look towards, hey, maybe we want to take a jungle because we want to get a good jungle matchup, it's like we saw the damage that was done by the junglers, like less than 4k on either side. Like they weren't a big factor. So I think it's kind of a bit difficult to take things away from that last game on either side. But looks like Gam going to go towards a much more aggressive play. So taking the Rel, taking the Kai'Sa. Rel can still swap into the jungle, but definitely, hey, we want to go forward. We want to try and take these fights, but kind of good answers from Loud at the moment. Xayah able to peel for herself. Now an Orianna going to come through as well. Like, this is still dangerous territory here for Gam.
I'm loving the smiles we're seeing from the Loud players as well. You can see them there kind of going, yeah, this looks good. This feels good right now. And they know, and again, it's a great ball delivery system for the Orianna as well with the Rakan. He goes straight in on top of people, charms them up so they can't just get away straight away. You get that nice little animation out of the way from the shockwave. So we'll see where they want to try and bring this one here. But for the moment, both teams kind of have a solo laner, but we should see some more bans into that top lane here from the side of Gam.
Yeah, I think there's also ways to try and facilitate this Orianna even more. Jarvan being the one that you could go for Croc here. That's not taken away. Neither side has actually selected a jungler just yet, but Led will have first rotation on that. So I'm curious exactly what they want to try and go for. And maybe even just look for a counter pick in the jungle, to be perfectly honest. Like, you can go for your answer to the Renekton, keep that jungler for last, unless you just want to put high priority on towards the Jarvan and be in that game setup as well.
Yep, well, there's the Rumble being banned away there. I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a Cassante banned away here by the side of Gam if they really want to try and focus in on that. Or if they don't see it as a big of a problem, they could maybe ban away the Jarvan themselves.
Be a Jax ban as well coming through.
Jax already banned.
Oh, true, yeah, first rotation. So that's kind of like where my head's at, is like, are there carries that Robo can try and take into this matchup, but the Olaf taken out of his hands as well? Like, you're kind of having that pool pinch. Is a Darius player, but not sure if he really wants to try and bring that out with the current setup, although with the way Gam have been playing and with the way their setup is, the hyper engage that they're going to go for and the low dives that they're going to, low range dives they're going to be going for, could be an angle to go towards a Darius.
Yeah, well, there's the Jarvan, so that's not going to be as an even easier kind of setup for them. So Jarvan and Rumble not going to be the combos in. I will say both of those picks in this comp for Loud could have been huge, but maybe we see our first Lee Sin of the tournament, because a lot of hype around this carry jungler, definitely looking towards Swiss stages. A lot of junglers itching to get their hands on this pick.
I think a lot of junglers just itching to get Lee Sin back at all. Like, basically, he struggled to clear so hard on those first round of clears because of the lack of sustain. The Riot gave him a bunch of sustain. Now he's actually kind of back to where he's in a decent spot, and there's a lot of picks you'd like to go for with that champion, but not going to be seeing it just yet. Instead, just going to be bog standard Cassante, take it into that top side for Robo. So it will be that counter pick in the jungle, just so then you can actually try and set yourself up here for Loud.
So the Cassante, we mentioned that matchup there as well. A lot of pros do think that the Renekton is very strong in the Cassante, but the Cassante just has so much available to him in terms of his kit that it becomes a bit more 50-50 than most people think. And then we get the Ahri locked in here and the Lee Sin for Levi. So finally, after all the hype around this pick, we are going to see a carry jungler for the side of Gam.
Okay. I like it. I think especially for Levi, like, this is a pick that's massive for this guy. Made his name on it, so you can even see Raz and Gilbert calling for it on the desk. Like, this is definitely a pick that Levi is very comfortable on and can be active in the early stages, which I think was missing a lot from Levi in the last one. But on the opposite side, that's another pick that can cause some serious issues. Great ball delivery, messes up entirely these dive compositions because you don't know what way is up when the darkness comes in. And I think for Loud, great response to what we've seen so far from Gam.
Yeah, we'll get Vedius on the phone, put him on the AD for afterwards, depending on how good or bad. Well, he is a Nocturne mid more so than anything.
He's an Akali player now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Scum. Well, thankfully we won't have Akali in this one, but the Nocturne be locked in, as you said, very good at disorientating people. The paranoia comes down. You have to be so very aware that, yes, you might have disengaged the fight as a Kai'Sa or even an Ahri, but if you're already still in vision and you're away from your support, you could get picked off as just as much. So both these teams seems kind of happy with what they've got so far, but I do think GAM's composition a little bit more cohesive than it was in game number 1. I feel like they can do a lot more with this in the early game.
Yeah, it has a very solid identity, which is, hey, look, we've got good mid-jungle setup with the Ahri Lee Sin. We can play hyper-aggressive. We've got good setup on our bot side, thanks to this Rel as well, that we can try and play through. So, and even, obviously, Renekton providing that point-and-click CC for Lee. So, lane setup across the board, which is the best moment for Lee Sin to be brought out. But the question remains of, like, how do you try and play these team fights? Because once Nocturne hits 6, these dive compositions require a lot of communication, a lot of coordination, and Nocturne dissuades that because he's able to just go, hey, you can't see what your team's doing, you don't really know what direction people are coming from, and if you're able to provide that disruption, that could be the moment where Loud are able to strike back.
Yeah, I think this is going to be definitely a little bit more kind of scrappy in the early stages for GAM especially. They're going to want to try and make these things happen, but like we saw in that first game, if it doesn't go well and you start to fall behind, they did look a little bit like a fish out of water. They didn't really know exactly when and where they needed to go, so have to make sure that they can bounce back solidly. It's not the end of the world if they lose this best of 3, but it definitely doesn't help them with their chances of moving on to the Swiss stage.
I mean, especially you kind of end up with the situation where you got or7 who will go up against the guys who knock them out. You got Loud who'll be going up against the guys who knock them out if we end up with both sides losing. So it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited to see GAM try and find their footing in this one again. Like, it feels like, again, you've got good setup, try and play through your lanes. But if Loud are able to get towards those later team fights, like Root, incredibly safe from the dive that GAM have thanks to Xayah. You're looking at the ball delivery system that Croc will offer with Tin Owns. And a lot of people don't realize is that, like, if you start the animation of the ultimate, it will carry past the area of, like, the ball coming back to Orianna. So a lot of that combo is going to be a case of Tin Owns trying to time that correctly as Croc sends himself in and being that big engage tool.
See what they can make of it, of course, but for the moment, of course, if you want to connect your League of Legends account with your Prime Gaming, you can grab the exclusive experimentation emote. Get yourself a nice little bit of a freebie. And, you know, you can get a load of different stuff with Prime Gaming, so always check it out. So we can see what they kind of go for here. I wonder if any more experimentation is going to happen in the play-ins. What's the craziest thing you're thinking? Because we saw Mumu yesterday in the WQS, which wasn't technically World, so...
Yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for the Senna to come out. I've just heard awful things about Senna. She's doing at the moment. Myself and Dracos have also been tearing up solo queue. Well, we say solo queue with 5 stack normals.
Yeah, ruining some poor person's day every day.
Yeah, with Senna. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, I mean, there's still a huge amount. I think Azir is still very, very popular. I think we haven't really seen any of the 80 carry bullies come out from like Lucian and Caitlyn and that kind of stuff. So definitely a lot still to try and figure out and experiment with. And also, we kind of have the usual one, which is like, there's always one pick that pops up in play-ins, and you're like, this is so broken! And then we get to the main stage, you're like, this is useless!
Yeah, Tryndamere. I know that 2020, 2021
I mean,
Tryndamere.
Mumu last year as well.
Mumu last year. It does feel kind of fun, though. I like the kind of testing grounds, if you will, of the play-ins to kind of see what we might or might not see. But so far, it's been pretty standard. I think that we should be seeing a lot of Renekton and a lot of Orianna as we go through the play-ins and even the main stage. So we'll see what ends up being the flavor of the tournament. It's a month-long tournament. Does end up getting what I call the mini-metas, and you end up kind of having things that are priority even though they wouldn't have been priority at the start.
Yeah, I still think, though, like, Control Mage is just so strong. This Orianna is a menace. We saw it yesterday. I haven't got to see a huge amount of it in the last game just because it just wasn't a position for it to really scale into it. And even in first series of the day, going for a bit of a more defensive build. For this in Tin Owns, I want to see pure aggression. I want to see, like, the Leandries straight in towards the Shadow Flame, like, get your damage there so you can actually be a 2-item carry and really get into the mid-game and hitting your stride.
Well, 3. There was a moment there for Zeus to go for something, but now that Levi has been revealed, Croc gonna just walk away. Does get hit by the Q, and he lands it, so he goes straight back in on top of it. The funny thing is, I was gonna say, you don't actually want that 1v1. Now Croc might be forced to flash as he realizes he's a little bit isolated away from his team. Nice full tilt from Pallet to get him right into the thick of it, but good little bit of aggression there from Levi. In the 1v1 he would lose, but in a 1v2 he definitely wins.
Yeah, able to back away. Croc unfortunately have to burn that flash just because you had that push from GAM on that bot side. Able to lean in to try and help out with Croc. So at least the moment, GAM doing some good work. Cassie as well, taking a little bit of damage, but will give the opportunity for, at least with the push here, Levi to get the double scuttle. And a lot of that is trying to set Croc behind, so he just hits 6 a little bit later. You delay that effect, he has a little bit longer before it becomes really relevant in these in these lanes and in these fights.
As explosive a start as they had for Loud in the first game, as we see Kiaya going for a little bit of a cheeky trade to get that demolished proc up on that top side, but you know, little bit by bit, it's the power of the top laners as well. We see it so often that you kind of need to always be in that lane. If you go for a bit of an unfavorable reset, you're going to lose a plate or two because of Demolish and how strong it is. So right now it does feel like Kiaya does feel comfortable in this one. He really wants this turret plate, but he needs to be very careful with how he goes for it. He's taking one too many turret shots. He has to flash. And that's the thing, as Jamada would say, the curse of Los Pletos almost took him.
Honestly, I think it's just bad decision making from Kiaya. Like, you know the Nocturne's going to be up in this top side, right? You knocked Proc out of the bot lane. You know that he tried to clear all his camps, so the only place he really could be is going to be top side. So Kiaya burning that for no real reason when he could have just tried to wait out. So a little bit of a mistake that I think Croc should be able to come back and punish then and kind of put Kiaya in his place once more.
We shall see. Both mid laners and top laners going to be hitting 6 very soon. That's when the game really starts to become a force. You want to have full access to all of your abilities before you really try to go for something. And
the FM
Seo's just being a little bit of a nuisance just to try and make sure he has full eyes on Levi. And that's kind of half the battle when it comes to something like a Nocturne or Lee Sin. If you have vision on them, if you know where they're going to be most of the time, they do have a much more muted impact of how they can kind of affect the game.
Yeah, I think that's where
Oyster.
At the moment you're trying to keep track of there's been no real like funny business when it comes to path, right? It's been full clear, reset, go back to your camps on either side of the map.
Tim DBS lawan Tim
Wales. Aware of what the enemy jungler is up to. It's just been a case of, well, Gam getting push on bot side, making it very, very difficult for Loud to respond in a lot of ways to this. So you can see again, Lee Sin going to start up Dragon because he knows, hey, bot lane's pushed in. The Croc can't just deal with me himself, and Caddy has pushed mid. So at the moment, Gam playing a much more calculated game and just playing off of their wave states well with the winning lanes in mid and bot.
Yeah, much more cool, calm, and collected here from Gam. Better start overall for sure. They are coming out on top a little bit. There's first Dragon of the game going over to them. The second one's going to be a mountain one. We'll see in 5 minutes. But for now, Seos just being a little bit more cheeky with his positioning right now, recognizing he's in a position to kind of get away from Pallet should Slater and him go for something a bit more aggressive. But I think it's level 6 for this Gam bot lane when they get access to the Magnet Storm and of course the ultimate from the Kai'Sa. That's when this assassination combination can come in.
Yeah, and if you can keep up the pressure on Loud, that's where they really start to struggle, especially pre 20 minutes. Like, they're not great at going for cross maps in the early stages. They're not great at trying to find themselves in a position where, oh, we can trade objective A for objective B. So if you're actually in a position where, say now, 7 minutes, you're looking at Rift Herald, it's not often that we see Croc trying to then go, oh, I'll dive bot instead or something along those lines. So if you can keep the pressure up, it kind of just becomes a stew that Loud can't really deal with. And I think that's where Gam, if they can start to move around towards these objectives after getting Dragon, after getting pressure on the bottom side and keeping that up, Loud will start to struggle.
We'll just wait and see. It's going to be quiet, I think, for the next few minutes. We will have a Rift Herald spawning in 30 seconds, but the pressure for Gam does feel... Oh, nice little move. Just going to say go completely on it. You mentioned it earlier. They wanted to punish the flashless Crocodile. And Croc does just that beautiful there from Robbo.
But you didn't even need a style on like that. It's like, oh yeah, he's had no flash, we can go for this. But instead it's like, hang on, let me just break this man's ankles. So Gam now down. We just said, hey, we want to see them keep up the pressure. Well, once again, Croc gets into top lane, helps Robbo out, shuts down Kiaya, and goes, right, well, now we're the ones that get this Rift Herald.
Yeah, and there's a reason why it was a featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz, because those moments where Robbo should be on the backside of it just changed the dynamic of the game. All of a sudden, top lane's under pressure. Ooh, Croc, they might try and go on top of you here. No one actually helped him out with the Rift Herald, so that's just going to be a big change of place.
That's fine, though. Like, Roots on bot side, he's getting 2 plates for this, so you've invested everything from Gam to try and get this because you don't have your top laner there. Kaya doesn't even have the TP to get down to bot side, so
true.
Like, this is actually still working out relatively well for Loud because Kaya will be able to pick up the wave, but you just lost that last wave, and maybe you lose another plate here. Maybe you lose your life for Kaya as well, because no flash, and here comes the dive.
I mean, he's already used his ultimate just to try and clear it off. They'll get the second plate to come in here. The stun comes down. The knockup is good. He finally gets himself away. The root is decent. Can they get the damage? They can! Root picks that one up. up, and that is now 2-0 for Loud in this game. They get everything they wanted and a little bit more.
Hey, I just said Loud aren't great at cross-mapping, but they pulled it off incredibly well. Problem is, though, Croc needs to be top. Has the ult if he can get in here.
Yeah, he does indeed. The kickback is good. The Magnet Storm, but again, it's still a Cassante, so he's going to be able to be just fine. He has so many dashes and flashes. Now they've used two different things. There's the CC buffer coming in. Palad's in a little bit of trouble. Flash comes in, trying to get himself away from it. Robo is saying, bring more! Bring everybody! I'll take his all on! The ultimate finally comes in, and they get the execution there with the Lee Sin Q, but it took a hell of a lot longer than Gam needed.
I wasn't sure if Croc would just move up towards topside with the ultimate, just try and help out in that regard, because I think if you end up with Croc there, they're not able to do much. Didn't want to lose out on the mid plates though to Catty, so at the moment you get a good amount of the wave as well, because Root and Seus are up here, so yes, it's kill for a kill, but Loud still responding well.
Yeah, Slater does have flash, might have to use it here in a second. They are going to jump on top of him with Charm is good. The heal keeps him with a little bit of movement speed out of harm's way, but those are the small mistakes we saw in game number 1 as well, where they just weren't really respecting Loud, and Loud fully prepared to punish it.
Yeah, the fact that you don't even get the Rift Tail down on this top side is such a big win for Loud. Catty gonna respond to Root here. Doesn't have his ult available, but you can see maybe Gam trying to think of setting up something with Levi and Paladin on this top end. Gam trying to think of setting up something with Levi and Paladin on this top end of the map, but they know that there's probably a few more members of Loud up there than they'd bargained for, so they're going to back away. But again, Tinon's now pushing in mid because Catty's staying on top side, so he's going to take plates. It's little wins that are starting to pick up here for Loud. It's only, you know, an 800 gold lead, 600 gold lead for them, but control over top side, you'll get to reset now. You got control over mid, where you can start to move over towards this dragon. Just start to disrupt Gam, who had control of the early stages.
Yeah, I will say, unfortunately, there for Loud, they did lose a plate in the mid lane, but it does feel like it's Gam responding a lot of the times. Loud making the play, and they're, you know, two movements forward, but Charm lands from Catty, but Tinon's had his jungler in the wings, and they know with the paranoia available that is not a fight you want to be taking just yet, but again, Loud just kind of playing this not like slow, but in a much more methodical way. They're not reacting in a panicked way. They're just getting what they can and constantly making Gam answer to them.
Yeah, I think at the moment Loud would like to try and set up for this Rift Out and again have Gam respond to them. But the biggest problem that they have right now is like Tinon's actually kind of a little bit behind. Would love to try and finish off his Luden's Echo before he gets in towards this next fight. Like that would give him so much control. So they have him on top side, but he needs to push in, reset, then TP into the fight. So a little bit dangerous. Control over mid priority though means that Loud will start up the dragon. You can see Robo trying to fight for bot priority as well, but this is kind of dangerous. There's a lot of big combo the Gam can just go for here as Loud are trying to set up for it.
You gotta be careful there as Catty and Tinons. They can't be caught going for the TP because they will just be CC'd immediately by the opposition number. So they have to make sure they're in a position to kind of get that one safely. As we see both 80 carries with their first item, Stormrazor for Slater. So going not the build we just saw there from Root because he knows he's going to have to try and burn through a couple more health bars.
Still though, like this is decent patience from Loud. They're like, hey look, they have Rift Herald, they can immediately try and take some of the plates, so we got to back off. But again, Tinons, is they going to reset? He's going to pick up his Ludens off the back of this, probably those Merc threads finished as well, and then they'll be able to actually fight with this massive Orianna off the back of this as well. So I think that's what a lot of they're playing for. You can see Ludens just completed. I think he's just waiting. No, won't get the boots at the moment, but still in a really strong spot now compared to Catty.
Yeah, see what Catty's able to do now. It does have a TP available to themselves, so might just push in that top side and look to get a little bit more. Not quite sure. They could stay for the turret fight if they really wanted to, but they need that reset in right now.
Yeah, excuse me, sorry, they need Catty to try and get his own answer to the mythic that's completed, but you can see Tinons are like, cool, we're going to completely forgo this and just try and find that dragon off the reset for Catty. Catty immediately TP into the tower though, so they're kind of missing their window of opportunity here.
Here we go, Croc looking to get caught on, they flash away, so Pallet loses his ultimate, gets caught out, they're going to get him right up on top of the wall, he's nowhere to go and he is taken out, but they've taken down the jungler as well. The all-out comes in to bring the Renekton right back into the hands of the Xayah as she tries to put down the feathers to get this damage down. A flash away from Kiaya gets him out of that fight, but you've lost your jungler now on the side of Loud. They need to try and push this mid lane, but I don't think Gam are going to let them do it for free.
Levi still has kick, he still has flash. You got to be so careful about how you position here. Levi could make a play. Tinons
does flash away, gets away from the charm. You can see Catty trying to see if he can catch him there, get good reactions there from the Loud mid laner. But again, we're getting to the point that the people who died have respawned. We might have another fight.
Yeah, and I mean, look at bot side. Kaya just goes, hey, yeah, you do your thing mid. I'm going to get some plates on bot side. So nice response from Gam. They're immediately going to turn over towards the dragon. This is where it gets risky, though. They're a little bit low, but I think they can burn this. Actually, maybe not. TP from Tin Owns as well. Rout really wants to get in here.
He got in. He gets himself division right there as well. They're going to try and jump straight on top of the Lee Sin. The flash kick is good, but it's not good enough. Tries to see if he can move away. Excuse me, he uses flashes there. Only got him right behind on the ward hop. And now the dragon is taking so much damage. There's a bit of a charm onto Robo, but he's taking so much damage, he's going to get taken out. That is the question. Slater wants to go for something right now, but it's going to be so difficult. It's a little bit of a strange situation. There's going to be the stride breaker. As you can see, Croc goes a little bit too far forward. These AD carries are the ones that are trying to be set up for success, as these odd bars are so low. Levi lands Sonic Wave, but doesn't want to overcommit to it. But important for Loud. Yes, they lose their jungler, but they did gain the dragon.
They get the dragon, but it's more kills going over towards Gam again. So this is where we get to see finally that 1,000 gold lead for Gam, and a huge amount of that, as you can see from the Massacre lane economy Snapchat, is on that jungle, right? So Levi doing a great job here. And although they did manage to push Gam back, they didn't need to take the fight. I think they were looking at Tin Owns going, hey, you're gonna have your ult up in a second, maybe we can make the play, but without it, they just overcommit.
This is a much stronger start now from Gam as well, keeping themselves right in this one. Yes, they did lose that dragon fight, but they had one of their own. But again, let's look at how chaotic this whole thing is.
Yeah, and this is where Croc should have just tried to take the long way around. Because the problem is, look at where Zaya is. She's completely zoned out of the equation, can't really get into this fight because she's trying to figure out what side of the wall she's supposed to be on. Robo then ends up, like, they get the pick, your jungler goes down, and now Root's again trying to walk in. So the whole time Gam are having this fight, they're getting their damage off, whereas Root's trying to get into a position to actually follow up. And here again, Root, yes, gets caught out, but the Nocturne ult actually means that this kick isn't seen by anyone, despite how good it was. And Catty could have actually gone for the flash, or gone for a charm, tried to see if he could have got the kill, but wasn't really in the position. But at this stage, Robo's out, you get the dragon, just call it a day. Yeah. There's no need. No ultimate on towards the Orianna, and I think that's where they were like, oh, maybe we can try and get something with this setup, but your Ori doesn't really have the damage without that ultimate at the moment. And you don't really have Root in a position where you can step up to be the carry. Pallet, though.
Oh, Pallet gonna have to try and use a crash down right now. It is a Chem Soul, so we'll have a little bit of the Rift to help him out, getting that extra little bit of a knockback from the plant. But while we came back, the top lane and the mid lane, thank you so much to our observers, do end up getting taken out. So it's a trade. Still about 1,000 gold. Actually, it's coming out to about 2,000 gold. Gam have been able to pick up a lot of farm on those side lanes. 30 CS between the junglers is the one that I'm looking at right now, and it does feel like it's Gam having a little bit of a stronger time on these resets.
Yeah, definitely getting a lot off the back of this. You can see there on the goal difference over time paired by AWS, like you're getting a huge amount of opportunities on Gam to start to pick up the pace, and I think they need to continue this, because you can see there, like, the difference when Gam has vision versus doesn't have vision in team fights is absolutely insane. So if they're able to control the map, look for picks with the Ari and Levi, who's quite fed, even having Slater if he needs to ulting in to find those picks is going to be great. Rift Herald in Levi's back pocket as well, would like to try and get that down, but I imagine they're going to try and hold on to that for the mid lane tower instead, and just have Catty slowly work down this bot lane turret.
I think it's just so close to being taken down anyway. You commit a little bit of extra time, you should be able to just kind of get it eventually. Pretty much full first items being coming out across the board for pretty much everybody. So we wait to see now what the next big play will be. Just under 2 minutes until that dragon spawns, but being a Chem Soul, it's not going to be the biggest of priorities, and we'll see if these teams get a little bit more creative.
I will say, though, this is a significantly better showing from Gam. We kind of got to see them pushed over in the last game because Slater and Pallet couldn't keep control of our bot side. But look at the difference now, right? Levi, far more confident on the Lee Sin. They're willing to contest for a lot of these objectives. Kaya getting some good positioning when it comes towards these fights as well, though. Struggled a little bit thanks to Robo in that last one, but at least Gam are actually fighting toe-to-toe with Loud rather than just being blown over by a stiff breeze. Gam as well, looking for Zaya here. Root might have overextended.
Yeah, definitely has overextended. The cleanse ain't going to do anything. Going to have to probably flash as well, but honestly, once he got caught out there, I think the cleanse and the flash are useless, and unfortunately for Loud, their carry is gone. Now they can use the Rift Herald on this top side, mid lane, really kind of put down the pressure.
Yeah, there was no need for Root to be in that position. Didn't have any sort of vision. It gets caught out now. That's going to be the mid lane turret taken without much resistance, and they can even continue this push forward. Got to be very careful here. Charm could land.
Yeah, the guy behind. I was going to say, they're going to try and maybe go for a bit of a move here. Kiaya has to flash away. Those end up kind of being a little bit too far extended right now, and it's just becoming a little bit of a problem now. GAM kind of building this momentum to get themselves back in this match. 3,000 gold.
Yeah, I mean, big move from GAM to get that everything that they needed there. We'll say overextending just a smidge, where in that situation you could have just backed off, set yourselves up for Dragon, and you would have been in a great spot. But this is just silly from Root. Like, yes, you've got that ultimate, but you have zero vision in that push to spot out pallet. Great flash in, sets up perfectly coming through with the ultimate as well. And as they start to back away, I think that's where they could have been. But we're back into live. You got 13 seconds until Dragon. This is where you want to try and keep this pressure up as GAM.
Yeah, you really want to try and keep your foot down on the pedal, get that momentum going for yourself, and get yourself back into this series, because after game one, I don't think a lot of people would have been, you know, kind of, I wouldn't give them too much of a hard time if they said, look, this is allowed 2-0, but really good bounce back here by GAM, and to kind of completely change up their draft and priorities to make sure they aren't just going to get, you know, bombed out again.
Yeah, we'll see. Raz might be picking up his shoe by the end of this, but now starting to move in. Sorry, flip-flop, yes, but now Loud's starting to move in. Levi in a good position. Keep your eyes on pallet. Actually going to come back over the wall. I thought he was going to try and keep that position.
Yeah, you got TP wards available as Kiaya kind of comes in from the mid lane. You're going to see now if Robbo can keep him going, but never mind. They're going to try and fully commit here onto the Rect and get his ultimate out of him. The paranoia does mean that there's no real re-engage to come out of this one here. Kiaya taking a lot of damage here and will eventually be taken out. They did get the Dragon on the side of GAM, but can they get out with their lives? That is the question. Robbo feeling empowered and confident gets kicked right the way back because he wants nothing to do with this team. And Levi ward tops over, so Dragon goes over to GAM, kill to Loud.
Yeah, Loud though, they're trying to see if they can maybe move into position here to just keep them pushed out. Actually going to continue to chase this. I wasn't sure if they were just trying to look for the mid-tier 2 instead, but they did find a pick.
Katsy's getting a lot of damage onto him. He does have the spirit, doesn't have the spirit rush, I should say. That means he's going to be going down. So that's 2 kills. That changes the trade pattern a little bit. It's gone from 3,000 gold to 1,500 gold. They've cut it in half.
Yeah, nice job coming through from Loud to find that pick. Even now, they get to kind of right the wrongs of the lanes a little bit, push in top, get control over this mid lane as well. Send Root into a position where he can actually start to get a bit more of this gold and try and get him towards 2.5 to 3 items very quickly. So nice picks. I still think Loud, at least having control over the Dragons for a moment, will help out substantially, and just again trying to see if they can find these picks versus big team fights.
Not only does it lead to picks, it leads to an objective, and that's what we always look for in these games, is that if you turn a kill into an objective, you're doing well. Guinsoo's Rage Blade just get finished up here by Slater, so...
Could I just very quickly point out,
go on,
how many wards are around that Dragon Pit? That is a ludicrous amount of
and they're
red
all
wards.
for Loud. That's the craziest thing. They're all Loud wards. If anyone sneezes around that Dragon Pit, they will know about it. But, I mean, it's why they felt comfortable going for that tower. There you go. There's a method to the madness, Dagda.
I mean, look, Loud getting something back is nice. Trying to slow down the pace as well for GAM, because let's be real, I mean, Xayah scales wonderfully, Orianna scales fantastically, same with Cassante. So the later this game goes, the more opportunities Loud will have. So it is on GAM to try and keep the pace up and keep themselves in a position where they can threaten Loud. And it's these picks, these moments where you're trying to clear out vision, that maybe you can find that opportunity.
We'll see now, Loud. Kind of getting themselves a couple of second items, or excuse me, GAM getting themselves a couple of second items. Got the Sterix Gauge and the Black Cleaver for Kiaya and Levi, respectfully. And of course, we did talk about the Guinsoo's Rage Blade as well, being picked up for Slater alongside that Storm Razor's Edge. So, let's see if they want to go for something right now. It does look like, at the moment, they're happy to kind of just control this mid lane. They don't want to go for too much, and that's what I was saying. You got to be careful with those feathers. The Xayah so scarily, deceptive with the way she works.
I think they're trying to keep an eye out for Robo. Oh, Pallet missed it!
Pallet missed it! Levi has to kick away. They do get the stretching strike. That's going to force the cleanse. The Charms comes down. They got Kiaya on the backside. The flanking Renekton is the scariest. They look to try and get onto Root, and he is dead. Now that's 2 kills. Good shockwave, but I don't think it's going to be enough. A double kill for the top laner as they keep pushing in and more. They're looking to try and make do and make up for a first game wins, and GAM looking to bounce back hard.
Root thought that this was game 1, thought that he could go forward, but wasn't expecting Kiaya over the side. All that vision we talked about on the bottom side for Loud passes out, and the second it does, Kiaya gets into position. GAM find the kills, and they'll get the Baron.
5v5, and they came out with 4 for none. They'll get the Baron, they'll get all the jungle camps, they got the mid-tier 1 and 2 as well. This was a fantastic amount of gold and just presence for GAM.
Yeah, we'll see it as the replay kicks off, just how quickly Loud panic when they see the Renekton come in. Like, Root had already used his ultimate to try and make the play happen. It was a good ult because he does get rid of the kick here, which was the big follow-up, right? Has to dodge Levi going for this kick, then sets up for Pallet, but the problem is he's now too far forward as the proc comes over the wall, tries to flash away, and Loud are panicking to try and keep Root safe, but with the follow from Levi, with
Kiai just being in the mix, it was so difficult to try and keep him alive, and Ori just isn't in a position right now to be that one DPS carry for those fights. She's only sitting on an item and a half.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, the Red Bull power play now coming in here for Gam, but this is a huge shift now. It's a 5,000 gold lead, 5.5 actually. Dragon spawning in this time. They're going to get full priority in all the side lanes, and you are just kind of sitting and waiting now on the side of Loud to try and get this game back into your favor.
Yeah, honestly, I think if I'm Loud, I'm like, look, let's not even go for it. Just leave this next dragon. Yes, it'll put them on forward. Realistically, we're just not in a position to try and fight right now. We've absolutely no vision. Let's see if we can try and get some of the standing, go to the map, use some of these bounties, like get top tower, try and get control over mid a little bit. Just give ourselves an opportunity to scale. Like 3 items, and Loud are so absolutely terrifying in a team fight that if you take a step wrong, you're going to know all about it as Gam. So just take it slow.
Kemarin nggak tahu, nggak bisa diklik, nggak bisa milih.
Need to overforce, no need to get too antsy, but like I said,
ganti bahasanya, Bang.
Bahasa apa nggak bisa, udah nggak bisa.
Kemarin itu ganti bahasanya kan tuh bahasa Indonesia kan? Nah, itu diganti ke Inggris. Kemarin udah dibilang, udah ngomong berkali-kali itu ada tutorialnya gitu.
Slater off the back of that was so crucial.
Sengaja lu ah.
Dia boya. Bisa pasti ya, bisa aja.
Dia boya. Marah sih marah.
Iya.
Iya boya, iya.
To carry, and that is a massive swing now. There it is, the featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. It is going to be Kiaya versus Robo, and Robo is kind of having his way with this matchup.
I'm just gobsmacked. Like, that was so sick. Like, out of nowhere, I was like, oh yeah, they're going to siege up. I started looking at the mini-map, and next thing Robo, flash forward, stun with the W,
receh ya.
Receh, banyak gua. Ayo kalau dapat juga adanya sama-sama mulu.
Iya boya.
Kecuali yang waktu itu yang warna merah.
It's the instant follow-up from the rest of his team, the pure trust in their top laner to go, this is the play, we all commit to it, everyone all in, and that was just fantastic moves there. I mean, just great to get them right back into this one now. So yes, they're still 4,500 gold down, but they got the dragon, so that's not coming up anytime soon. They've delayed pretty much all of this Baron. It's going to be gone in 15 seconds. You got very little.
Yeah, I mean, a legend in the CB law, 6 titles, matching BRTT for Robo, and now coming into this as well, a legend on the Rift as looking at Pallet again. Doesn't have the flash.
Ternyata yang masih main LoL itu kenal sama gua nggak kenal sama dia. Yang waktu kemarin main LoL itu tahu sama gua nggak tahu sama dia.
Lu friendly nicknya apa, Bang? Nicknya apa, Bang?
Like when you look at the main CB law, it's like 20 minutes.
Ya bang, udah duduk sampingan, duduk sampingan, udah mabar, bayangin aja.
Kemarin kan udah mabar, tapi kan main custom lu nggak ada lagi orang.
Ya diajak main normal atau TF.
Dia minder, aduh lalu gede lepasnya.
Dia lebih berapa kan? Dia ajakin di sini bah jadi Pokemon.
Ya nanti.
It becomes so much harder to deal with this Cassandra. The more tankiness he gets, the more kind of items and kind of just general kind of game-changing buffs.
Ini Pokemon apa? Pokemonnya gini mah.
Pokemonnya itu gini Gor, di Discord lu Pokemonnya bisa diajak inilah. Maksudnya kalau lu nggak tahu tanya terus dilakuin guys. Kalau enggak sih udah kebangetan. Nah, kemarin siapa sih Akali 99 ini?
Akbot.
Gue
Akali. Ada lu main nggak kemarin Gorsky pas Akali main?
Ada baku.
Ya Allah. Coba itu nggak pernah ulti nggak pernah ulti.
Itu sampai berapa orang si Seiya ngetik, terus siapa lagi yang ngetik ya? Bang
ya,
tuh tim minion dulu.
Dia ngomongnya buat champion, tapi pas dia mau makan gue res mulu sama Gilean. Sampai 0 poin sampai selesai aja.
Nol-nya sampai akhir 0 kayak gitu.
0 aja.
Itu udah dikasih tahu, coy. Bang ulti minion, bang ulti minion. Nah, ini orang gebal amat gitu.
Dia ulti minion tapi yang gede, nggak mati anjir.
Nah, gebod.
Nagebut.
It's definitely a much tighter game here for GAM than they probably would have liked, considering how well they were working in that mid game.
Yeah, and this is where, like, in theory, what you want to try and do is GAM is like, hey, we're going to try and set up
Mending si David coy.
use that to
itemnya ngasal, tapi kalau pakai Nocturne oke lah.
And then establish all our vision.
Iya, iya yang pakai Bloodister, aduh ngapain Bloodister buat apa anjing.
Iya itu Bang. Dia ngekill banyak kan dia Bang, ngekill banyak dia.
Hold enough members allowed into those positions.
It
means that Loud are constantly to defend that vision line. So for GAM, it's a case of, hey, can you actually play through this map state properly? And I mean, to be honest, it's not something that we see from them a lot domestically. It is a case of, hey, if we show up mid, you're going to fight. And that's kind of the way that it has worked in the BCS. With Loud showing this much constraint, I think GAM are starting to struggle.
Just a little bit, they're not getting the same kind of madness, if you will, that they would get from the BCS. They're not getting the same kind of crazy plays that everyone just kind of throws everything at the wall and sees what stick. But important to note that we have got a couple of key items being picked up here. We have got 3 items here onto the Xayah Lord Dominus Regard gets finished up, so they are fantastically fed if they can put down the feathers. Not only that, on the other side you do have Slater with 3 items, but they also have the tiny little buff of having a stopwatch. So we'll wait and see how both these teams want to fight around these fights. Baron fight. You do, Levi. What can you do? Robbo now with his Randuin's Omen going full for that AD, or armor I should say, to deal with the AD. Just kind of make them towards it.
Watch Tinones trying to sit off on the side here, see if he can catch GAM as they start to make their way in again. Like, Tinones can kind of sit and look for these plays because he knows Croc and Sales can have that immediate follow-up, but not quite finding anyone at the moment. Vision, not great for Loud in this area, which means...
Tinones, he does get kicked back, but there's no charm. They're going to finally jump straight in on top of him, but now they can get everybody else down. You can see Rude trying to deal with the Lee Sin. The paranoia puts everybody into the darkness, and they can't find the carries. 2 kills, 3 kills, maybe even 4. Slayer goes down, and that's it. The Baron and Loud are right back in the game.
The pick was so close to being there, but the damage was not there to follow up. And once again, Loud are managing to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
It just feels like GAM, it's such a massive moment. They felt like they had it, but just small little things that went against them that just didn't really work. Levi looking for a 1v1. Never mind, it's a 1v2. He'll get a ward jump over the wall, but he's going to be nowhere near this dragon to even potentially stop that soul point going over. But I mean, Loud just playing this matchup so well, and just honestly just keeping GAM just in the dark, quite literally.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for GAM, they just weren't able to try and play off of, hey, look, we've got this Lee Sin Ari, let's try and make a quick pick. But you can see the idea was there, especially with Slater having that ultimate. Go in over the side, try and burst them out, but despite not having defensive stats, it's so difficult to burst out this Ori. Charm dodged, which was beautiful. Then the miss Q coming through from Caddy, that's the damage that realistically would have finished off this Orianna nice and early, but not there. Then as you get the follow from the Renekton on the top side, great charm coming through from Sales to keep everyone off of Bruce. And with those 3 items that you talked about, Bruce is out to carry the DPS he needs.
That's it, the paranoia comes down, they don't know exactly where everybody is, and then just perfect target selection from Robbo as well. Immediately goes all out onto Slater, who had flash and heal, could not use either of them because he just knew he was dead. There was nothing to go, there was nothing to run away from.
And now you've still got all the standing gold on the map for Loud as well. So not only do they get the fight, they're going to start getting top towers. You get top tier 1, you get tier 2, you got tier 2 on bot. Look at mid, Croc is going to crack up in this tier 2 as well. Like, you're in such a good position now as Loud to now not only get the gold lead back in your favor, but also grow it.
Here we go, they're looking for a little bit of a fight right now. The turret from the Nocturne in the mid lane, because he's got the paranoia to join in on top of this one. Kati has been spotted, and immediately the paranoia comes out. Turn off the lights, where are you going to go? I'm going to jump right on top of your face and force you to back away. Just small little things that just stop everything from GAM. And Loud have just perfectly navigated this mid to late game.
Aduh, main
Croc, but he's able to get out of there as well.
Lagi yang mana
Croc has been separated. Can GAM
another TP? You know what? If it's so nice, you try it twice. Let's go for it. They're going to try and see if they get Kai on the backside. He pops the dominance and see if they can burn him down. There's the good kick. A shockwave comes in. Slater tries to do the damage. The defenders do go flying. No Root to come out. Slater does get the stopwatch off finally. They're jumping onto Root, but Root has a stopwatch of his own. Kati goes down to Robbo on the backside of this one. Immediately turns his target onto the other carry of GAM, and Shubby has to slice him down. He was the featured matchup. He was the man we love to be the king, and he is doing just that. A triple kill for Robbo as the CB Law roar into the world World Championship. He's not quite done. He wants to bet a little bit more time, but he's not got the damage now. He's finally done on his all out, but they may still look for more.
Robo was the chosen one. He was the one we said to watch the day. And in game 2, when Loud were down, we said they were out. Robo stood tall and said, come at me, Kaya. What you got?
They said you got the high ground, but it does not matter because Robo still taking a lot of damage. Finally gets the Gargoyle Stone Plate. He's going to get another Dominus. That is the second Dominus in this fight. And finally the shutdown comes on the Robo, but he is not the carry for the minute. Kaya does get a double kill, and Gam survive, but it is literally that word, survive.
2 Dominus, 2 Shockwaves, a second chance needed for Loud to try and finish this off. It's only Halloween, don't start that. But as he starts to come in, I mean, for here, Root, he's got on the wrong side of this fight. But again, Sales keeping people at bay, manages to get onto Levi Kaya to keep him out. Then you do get Slater, who's very, very far forward, but Root posts a stopwatch. He's dealing a lot of time, and Robo is soloing out on Slater on the back line, which makes things significantly easier. Because now, consistent damage is gone with consistent damage, and Robo, this Cassante, level 17 with this many items, it's going to be so damn strong.
Berarti
but defender advantage.
ada pertandingan lagi nggak Bor kalau ini udah kelar?
Ya, menang apa kalah ini?
Udah menang 2-0. Terus maksudnya ada pertandingan yang lain lagi atau udah?
Ini belum kelar Mas Wahyu gamenya.
Hah? Udah?
Udah kelar.
Belum. Oh iya belum. Tadi nggak di end anjir. End di tot doang.
End itu Mas Wahyu.
Iya. Kirain di end.
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult to try and take him down. But the problem is, I don't even know if we're going to get to that. I mean, 50 seconds, yes, until it's up, but you have so many issues for Gam to deal with. You've got top lane that's pushing in, mid control there for Loud. Like, yes, Loud will probably take the dragon, but I just don't think you're in a position here as Gam to take the fight beforehand.
Buset, poin
They gotta throw something at
8.
him. You gotta throw something at him. The super minions are being
Poin
dealt
8
by Kiaya,
susah
but look at that drop. Oh my god. The win probability powered by AWS, and that's the thing. It's probability, so it's just kind of figuring out where the game is. And Gam were pretty solid for most of it, but does feel like right now it's just so difficult for them to even step up to Loud.
I mean, we said already, right? The scaling has perfectly come through for Loud. You're looking at Nerly, your final item coming through from Root. Tinones is going to start working out. Imagine on Rabadon's death cap, so even then it's still going to be tough. But I just don't think he's going to get to it. I mean, maybe actually as he has headed back, but like it's just so hard. Like even look at Robo there. It's an
Elixir of Iron. Yeah, he's got Elixir of Iron, so he's doing even more there. There's going to be the camp. Goes in, stolen! Nicely done by Levi, the king of objective steals. He'll get
as Loud with Baron on the way. Yes, you stop the soul, but you're going to lose Baron, and you're still only going to be shoved into your own base. Like, it delayed us, but maybe by a handful of seconds, Loud just get to do what they want to get.
Yeah, they won't get the soul in the Baron, they'll just get the Baron. So this is the issue there. And look, Levi always loves a little bit of extra spice, kind of putting in as much as he possibly can. And like you said, any advantage you can deny from your enemy is an advantage to you. But yeah, the Baron being here right now, and Slater needs to be very careful with those recalls next time.
Yeah, but Loud, now they're outside the base. 10 seconds still on Levi, which means mid lane tower is going to fall. Gam crumbling in front of them. Like, yes, you took away an advantage, but you also gave yourself a disadvantage in this 4 versus 5 now. Continue to push forward. One more inhibitor stands in their way between taking everything in the base.
Taking everything in the base, taking
Aku
this
baru
series,
2
and
loot.
taking a shot.
Aku juga baru 2.
PSG knocked them out at MSI, and they want revenge, like you said.